It's been a brave run from the defending champion. Yes, sir, he's over. It's a friendly rivalry. What a supreme season. And that is an Australian record.
Tonight, a special moment in sport as Carl Lewis, the world's finest athlete, makes his debut Australian appearance in the men's 100 metres. Also on the program, the return of Melinda Gainsford-Taylor in the women's 200. Atlanta silver medalist Cathy Freeman takes to the track, while javelin silver medalist Louise McPaul returns to the Australian circuit.
Good afternoon, I'm David Colbert and welcome to the Olympic City of Sydney for this very special Optus Grand Prix meeting. Fantastic lineup of track and field action today. Let's have a look at what some of the events we can expect on the track. Men's 400 metre hurdles and men's 110 metre hurdles. Rowan Robinson and Kyle Vanderkuyp, both Olympic finalists. Melinda Gainsford's got a tussle on her hands today with the youngster Lauren Hewitt in the women's 200 metres. International field in the men's 1500 metres, King Carl Lewis in the men's 100, followed by Cathy Freeman in the women's 400 metres. What a great program. Joining me is Ray Hadley. Ray, you've covered 2 Olympics and 2 Commonwealth Games on radio. This is the first time you've been involved in domestic meet in Australia. What a way to start.
Unbelievable, David. In fact, it has a real Olympic flavour about it, this meet this afternoon and this evening. And of course, we're seeing Carl Lewis. He's grabbed all the headlines. Our special guest commentator, Steve Monaghetti, he may be grabbing the headlines, Steve, but there's plenty of depth from the young Australians and not so young Australians as we lead into the year 2000 Games.
Yes, and this is the first time we'll get to see them all together, and I'm really looking forward to it. There'll be some great racing here tonight, and certainly we've got our Olympians on show, and it'll be interesting to see how they match it with the internationals, and will the women take over the night. I think we've got the highlights of most of the events that I'm looking forward to are the women's events for the evening. So I'm looking forward to a great night of athletics.
And we'll look forward to your company as well. Of course, Dave Colbert told you what's in store as far as the track is concerned, looking after the field. Resplendent in a tie he's borrowed from someone, perhaps from Vincent de Paul. Good afternoon to you, Terry Kennedy.
Thanks very much, Ray Hadley, for that first wrap of the day. I'm sure there'll be plenty more to come. A great day in the field coming up, started by the women's hammer throw, the battle between Debbie Sozomenko up against Denise Passmore. The men's javelin features Andrew Curry, but the big highlight, the women's javelin, and Louise McPaul, the Olympic silver medalist, up against arch rival and good friend Joanna Stone. So as you can see, and also the men's shot put, 2 of the most exciting athletes in Australian field events do battle in the men's shot put in Clay Cross and Justin Anelzak, and the men's triple jump just to finish it all off. So a great day coming up in both track and field, and the woman with her finger on the pulse trackside is Amanda de Pledge.
Thank you very much, Terry Kennedy. Actually, my pulse is racing right now in anticipation of a huge evening we have ahead of us here at Homebush Bay. And I have to say, I can't help but brag a little bit because I really have scored the prime spot for this, alongside with the capacity crowd here at Homebush Bay. Perhaps the biggest crowd that we've ever seen here, and they're saying that. But why wouldn't you? Because of the world-class athletes that we'll see in action tonight. And speaking of world-class athletes, joining me now, Melinda Gainsford-Taylor. Melinda, it's terrific to see you back. We're into another season. You must be really looking forward to tonight.
I am, Amanda. It's fantastic. We've come out here and I've seen the crowd and it's absolutely awesome. I'm starting to feel really pumped now. So, you know, it's been great, and I don't think I've never seen a crowd like this at Sydney Athletics, field. So hopefully that'll bring out a good performance tonight.
And also, we can't get away from the fact that King Carl Lewis will be competing tonight, and I guess just his presence really inspires something in athletes to go out and perform well, because the fact that the King is here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, as I said, I think that's what's brought out the crowd tonight, and it's been well worth our while for getting him out here. And for me personally, it's psyched me up. So hopefully with all the other athletes that are competing here today, it will do the same.
Mel, a year of mixed fortunes really in '96. There was injury, and that's a constant worry for you and a constant battle. But now you're into a new year. Have you got new goals this year?
Yes, definitely. I want to get this race done tonight. It's really important to me, and to start all over again. 12 months of hell it has been for me athletically, and this year I want to turn it completely around, and hopefully this will be a start tonight. I won't be up the box there as much, but I think I'd rather be running on the track at this stage in my career.
Terrific. We can't wait to see you in action a little bit later on, and now it's back to the guys in the commentary box.
Thanks, Amanda. Well, good to see Melinda Gainsford-Taylor back on the track. First event on the track tonight, the women's 400 metres. Here's our start list. Yvette Cordy from Victoria goes from lane 3. Lisa Proctor, the Queenslander, in 4. Lauren Poetska in 5. Ulrike Urbanski, the world junior champion from Germany, in lane 6. She won that title here just a couple of months ago. Josephine Fowley was in that race. She finished 4th. She's in lane 7. And Vanessa Jack from New Zealand is in lane 8.
So they're about to be called to the start. The introductions are here. Of course, David, it'll be Ulrike Urbanski. Most interest with the World Junior Champion. The 17-year-old, of course, Australian. Josephine Fowley, 4th in the World Championships last year. Lauren Poetska is being introduced as I speak. She'll carry number 68 in the Optus bib and will run from lane number 5, 2 times national champion.
She's been running pretty well too. There's Lisa Proctor, the Queenslander. Personal best there of 57.35. Urbanski and Poetska, the ones to watch. There's Urbanski, the German. She's been training here for 2 or 3 months in Canberra. She won in Perth.
Statuesque young lady, the German at 19 years of age, a PB of 56.65, last year's World Junior Champion. From outside to win as they go the first attempt, Vanessa Jack, New Zealand, Josephine Fowley as they come up to the first, then came Ulrike Urbanski, Lauren Poetska, Lisa Proctor, and Yvette Cordy goes up on the inside of Proctor now to be in second last position. They go over the third flight of hurdles right now.
Pretty strong breeze down the back straight. You can see there Urbanski just straining in the back. Very important that they get their stride length there. Poetska and Urbanski going at it together. Perhaps Poetska just in front. In fact, you can see there that she is just in front as they go through 200 metres.
Looking good for the Australian now on the top corner, with Poetska going up on the inside of the German World Junior Champion. And as they come up now to the 7th flight, or the 8th flight now, and Lauren Poetska is in front from Ulrike Urbanski. Back over on the inside, Yvette Cordy running a race in company with Lisa Proctor. The young Australian in front, Lauren Poetska. Ulrike Urbanski is having another crack at it now. Poetska in front, Urbanski on the outside, raising another effort. Urbanski coming at, oh yes, Urbanski got there, I think, from Poetska. Urbanski from Poetska, third's pretty tight, either Proctor or Cordy, and the time will be 56.91.
Well, a great race there. In fact, shades of Debbie Flintoff-King in 1988 at the Olympic Games. 2 athletes going to the line, locked together, and Urbanski was the one that just got there. You can see them here. Poetska ran a great race. She's been known to stop something frightful in the concluding stages, but she did hang on well here today. Good race from these 2 young athletes. Tricky event, the 400-metre hurdle. Stride pattern all important. And in the fluky wind conditions here, they've got the wind as they enter the home straight. A little stutter there for Poetska, but she managed to keep her rhythm going. Good fight for third too between Proctor and Yvette Cordy.
Just as she lost a stride there on the penultimate hurdle, the German girl lost it as well, but just had a little bit too much. You can see here she's half a metre behind Steve Monaghetti, but Urbanski is going to lunge right on the line, and you'll find, incidentally, Proctor will get third in front of Cordy, but Urbanski has won, the time unofficially 56.91.
So important to hold your form there. You can see Lauren really struggling the arms, and you can see she's lost her legs, and that's where you've really got to use your arms and try and hold your rhythm as much as you can right over that last hurdle into the line, Ray.
I think that was the key there. Over the last hurdle, Urbanski really did run off it a little bit better than Poetska, and they fight for the line, and they're pretty happy to see it too. Poetska just being beaten by the World Junior Champion Urbanski.
A long way to go, 400 metres, and put hurdles into the event as well, and you can see why the girls are tying up over the last 20 metres, but the Australian tying up more noticeably than the West German Junior Champion. She's won. It's not official yet, but she has Ulrike Urbanski from Lauren Poetska, and Lisa Proctor will be third, just in front of Yvette Cordy.
Well, Amanda to pledge, 2 from 2 for Ulrike Urbanski.
Congratulations, you're the World Junior Champion today in record or in World Champion form again. Do you feel good out there?
Yeah, I feel good, but I had some problems with the windy, but it was a good race. I'm satisfied.
Lauren was right there. She was sort of like edging in front of you a little bit around the race. Did you feel her presence, or weren't you aware of that?
Yeah, I feel her presence, but in the home stretch I want to run, and I had a good final sprint, and it's okay.
I guess for you now going into this senior competition from juniors, this is a really big transition in your career, isn't it?
Transition?
You know, you're really moving into the next ranks, you know, into the senior ranks from being a world junior champion. A different ball game now?
It's not so easy. It's a good woman's run 53 or 54, and that's 2-3 seconds, and it would be hard.
Well done, you won today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Results now for the women's 400-metre hurdles. First event on the program today, Ulrika Urbanski from Germany in first, 56.90. A good time for her. Lauren Poetska in second, just outside her season best, 56.94. And Lisa Proctor just sneaking in ahead of Yvette Cordy in third place.
30, 40, 50 metre signs, so it'll give you an idea of how far.
Women's hammer throw action now. Denise Passmore into the circle. Personal best Terry Kennedy of 57.58.
Should be a great competition this. Denise Passmore up against Debbie Sozomenko, who loves to throw. In front of this big crowd at the Sydney Athletic Field, Passmore, the main danger to Sozomenko in this competition. Winds up, lets it rip. Looks relatively happy with it.
Lane 2 is
it's a legal throw. Just wait on the margin. Denise looks on anxiously. Uses the full circle. And round one throw, 56.92. What a great way to start for Denise Passmore. Into the circle. McNaughton, she's in fourth place at the moment and has to get up over that 60-metre barrier. Not quite the power of Passmore or Sozomenko, and just short of that 60-metre mark, around the 57 mark. But still having a good competition, Dave Colbert.
Yeah, she'll be keen to get up there over 60 metres. Just stays in the circle. Of course, these competitors must remain there. 56 exactly. So she's in third place.
This event is now becoming an Olympic Games event, and this woman, Debbie Sozomenko, could well and truly be up in the medal count come the Sydney 2000 Olympics, where she'll be throwing in front of her home crowd. 22 years of age, and she gives it a big wind-up.
She'll be a little bit disappointed with her throw so far, 60 metres 16, but that's an improvement for Sozomenko. Well over 60 metres, that's the orange tape. The red tape you can see there is her own Australian record of 65.24.
62.92, and that throw puts her in first place after 3 rounds of competition in the hammer throw.
Well, a big crowd here at Sydney International Athletic Centre. In fact, I'm sure, Ray Hadley, it's the biggest crowd they've ever seen here.
Oh, most certainly the case. The stadium has not been open all that long, of course, adjoining what will be the main Olympic stadium come the year 2000. But for people in other parts of Australia, we had a dreadful day in Sydney yesterday, more rain than we've seen perhaps in the last 3 months. It bucketed down. But it cleared for today as if someone decided of a higher order that it was in fact the day for sunshine to come out as a mark of respect to Carl Lewis and the other great athletes, and a crowd of somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000 here already.
Well, another great athlete we're going to see in a moment in the men's 400-metre hurdles is Rowan Robinson, and Terry Kennedy has got this profile on our Olympic finalist.
It appears Rowan Robinson was always destined to be a star of the track.
A world junior champion in 1990. 12 months later, he won the first of 5 national titles in the 400-metre hurdles, and there's plenty more to come.
Robinson's hanging on, better than that, coming away to win again.
Inspired by his shock exclusion from the Barcelona Olympics, Robinson was not about to miss the plane to Atlanta. He smashed records like cheap china plates during the last domestic season, setting the track on fire at the NEC Classic.
The Australian record, will it go? They're going to get close. He's done it again. 48.87.
I came here today to run fast. I came here to win, put on a good show to the fans, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that run.
3 Australian records tumbled in as many runs. He continued to improve, booking himself a place in the Olympic final.
He's finished 4th in 48.28. He's into the final.
You're into the final. You're into the final. Oh, Murray.
But congratulations,
Tell him the time.
48-28, and you're through, finishing fourth. Sensation.
Oh God, this is my whole life has just come to a point, and this is it. Oh my God.
There's been no post-Olympic depression for Robinson. Now rated in the top 10 in the world, Robinson has come back from a short break in good form, stepping out and over the hurdles in great style in Perth last week.
I'm just happy to get around, one piece. It's not such a bad time considering the wind. I'm looking forward to racing next week in Sydney.
Certainly a stellar moment in Atlanta for Rowan Robinson. Here's our start list in the men's 400-metre hurdles. Andrew Laverick from New South Wales in lane 2. Gary Workman in 3. The Olympic finalist finishing 5th there in Atlanta, Rowan Robinson. He's got some competition here though today. Ranked 1 place higher than him on the world rankings, Eric Thomas from the USA. Zid Abu Hamid now, the Australian. He goes in lane 6. Rod Zuderwick in 7. Matt Beckenham, who is Rowan Robinson's training partner, is in lane 8. And Matt Woodhouse in lane 9. Great field here in the men's 400-metre hurdles.
And the introductions are taking place now. I think I said inadvertently the crowd between 3,500 and 4,000. Of course, I meant between 7,500 and 8,000 here at the moment because the grandstand is almost full. I must have been at a different venue just momentarily, David. I hope what is called an aberration.
No, I think probably, Ray, you've what is the normal crowd here in Sydney, which is about 3,000 or 4,000, but they've come out in force to watch the King.
You're not referring to our rugby league crowds in Sydney, perchance, are you, David, as a southerner? Anyway, they're getting called to the start now. The field has been introduced by David Calvert, Matt Woodhouse, Matt Beckenham, Zuderwick in lane 7, Zid Abdu Hamid in lane 6, Eric Thomas, the American, in 5, Rowan Robinson, the finisher of all eyes, in lane 4, Workman 3, Laverick 2. Away they go from the outside to win. Woodhouse in 9, Beckenham 8, Zuderwick, then came Abu Hamid from Thomas, Robinson, Workman, Laverick. They're over the first flight, going to the second at the top of the back straight.
Well, there's Robinson and Thomas. Thomas somewhat agricultural as they go over the hurdles, as opposed to Robinson. He's moved up on Thomas's inside. He'll be very happy with that positioning. Abu Hamid running well on Thomas's outside, but it's all Robinson at the moment.
Yes, in fact, Rowan Robinson's got them covered as they come up towards the 7th flight on the top circle now. Rowan Robinson running pretty strongly. Out deep on the track, there was a fall there. I think it may have been Woodhouse who came down, but Rowan Robinson in front now. Eric Thomas gets a second win. He goes out after him in company with Abdu Hamid, but in the straight, Rowan Robinson in front. Last flight, here's Hamid coming at him. Abdu Hamid comes at Robinson. Here's a shot, and Abdu Hamid is going to go in. In fact, the American has got second, and Rowan Robinson has weakened into 3rd position, and the time is 49.70.
Well, a little bit of a shock there, but I know that Zid Abu Hamid was fired up for this race. He missed Perth last weekend. He's just recently become eligible to compete for Australia. Of course, a former Syrian Asian Games champion. As we watch them come off the top turn, Robinson's got a big lead. You can see Woodhouse had a few problems with that one and went down. But Robinson perhaps went out a little bit too hard.
I was talking to Zid before the race, and he was saying that he's flat running. He'd run a very fast 400. He was happy with how he's going and very relaxed. And obviously, welcome to Australia, Zid. That's a great run, and he's come off an Australia Day presentation, and he's certainly showing great form there. He's very happy. That very fast time too, Dave.
Yeah, great time for him. Just outside his season best. In fact, 1/100th outside. You can see the finish here. Robinson's gone. Thomas runs across him, but hands in the air for Abu Hamid, and rightly so. You can see Rowan there. He's just about had enough as they get to the top of the straight. All eyes fixed on the hurdles. He cleared that one okay. Thomas absolutely smashed the second last to smithereens, but geez, a big strong boy, and was able to carry on. Robinson still has the lead. Abu Hamid grabs him and goes straight by to collect a good victory here in Sydney.
I don't want to detract from the winner, but your suggestion is that Rowan Robinson perhaps went out too hard too early. Maybe a rush of adrenaline, a big crowd, a big meet, a big day for Rowan Robinson. And you, as you've correctly pointed out, went up very quickly on the inside of Eric Thomas at about the 2:20, had him covered. Thomas, if he hadn't have hit that second last flight, may have made life very interesting with the former Syrian. Abu Hamid as well.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ray. Of course, the 400 hurdles, as is the 400 metres, a bit of a game of tactics. You need to have a little bit up your sleeve when you hit the straight. It's a tailwind here, which would help them, but Abu Hamid timing his race perfectly.
Zed, a terrific race, obviously a quality field to make it all that much more satisfying for you.
I'm really happy with my run today. The weather was a bit windy, but it's good to run like a quarterfinal for the World Champion in this time. Like still like the season, they still start just the start. Really good.
I mean, the season's got off to a great start for you because, of course, you won the event in Canberra, but Rowan Robinson wasn't there. How satisfying was it to go out and beat him today?
You know, the last 3 months I was doing like really good at training and no injury like last year. I'm really doing well with my coach. And we changed some with my technique, with my running. Like this is the result. That's good to win too. Also like in Sydney, in my hometown.
And what about the crowd? Were you aware of the crowd? Because it is a very big crowd here today. Could you hear them cheering you on?
Really like thank you for everyone like is here today. I really like they give me like really good energy to do that. Yeah.
Terrific, well done. Thanks very much, Zed. Excellent. And we also have Rowan Robinson with us. Rowan, of course, it really was a quality field there today. You went out really hard. What happened in the end?
Over Christmas I had a few problems with a bit of a problem I've got with my knee. Training was a little bit disjointed and today was my first race, so you know, the wind was pretty strong and I took it out hard, but I haven't run enough races to finish it off yet. That'll be the first and last time I get beat this year.
Rowan Robinson, well done. Thanks, bye.
Thank you.
There's no doubt about that. He said that it'll be the last time he gets beaten this year. He's normally right when he says things like that, Steve Monaghetti.
Well, that's what we like to hear. I don't hold that against it. It's a good attitude to have, and that's why we bring internationals out here. That's why the competition's as tough as it is over the 400. He did go out very hard, and to Rowan's credit, I mean, he's honest. It's early in the season for him. It's good that he puts it on the line like that, and certainly we can look forward to some great 400 clashes after comments like that, Dave.
Absolutely, and Eric Thomas will be here for most of the season, as will Kelvin Davis. He's coming out. He'll start his competition program in Adelaide, of course, the bronze medalist from the Atlanta Olympic Games. So plenty to look forward to in the men's 400 metres. Plenty to look forward to here. The men's 100 metre heats. Carl Lewis seeded directly into the final here. So we will have 3 heats. The first 2 and the next 2 fastest will go through to the final. Here's heat 1, Shervington 1, Hutton 2, Steve Brimacombe, one of the favourites here, just missed out on the Olympic final in the 200 in Atlanta. Pintony in 5, Cooler from Tonga in lane 6, Chris Donaldson in 7, Hadfield and Ryan Whitnish. So Brimacombe and Whitnish, the ones to watch here, they should proceed without too many problems.
Whitnish from the outside, Brimacombe from lane number 4, 3 from the right-hand side of your screens, with lane 1 being vacant. The first runner you see there is Shervington. Away they go. Brimacombe away only fairly on this side of the track. Whitnish got away quite well and back on the inside. Shervington. Now Brimacombe goes through on the inside and Brimacombe's going to qualify. It's pretty tight for second. Oh, I think Donaldson got there in front of Whitnish, and those two will go through to the final along with Carl Lewis, who didn't have to qualify, of course, and the time is 10.28.
Well, the time's a good one. We just looked for the wind and it is legal. So Steve Brimacombe will be delighted with that. A World Championships A qualifier. And it is a personal best by 1/100th of a second for Steve Brimacombe. He's pumped up. He did get away a little bit slowly, but gee, he picked it up. Ryan Whitnish is with him there, as is Donaldson, the New Zealander. But Brimacombe, he remains relaxed. The form is perfect. He eases off at the line, and a personal best for Steve Brimacombe. Here he is in isolation. Bursting face for Steve Brimacombe, but he does get up and he gets relaxed. There's Steve Hutton on his right-hand side. On his left-hand side, I should say, on our right-hand side, as we look at it on the screen. But Brimacombe totally relaxed as he comes down to the line, and it looks good for this afternoon, Brimmer.
And I think Chris Donaldson has finished second, is it? Just in front of Whitnish on this fast track. But of course, the first two go through. Big news coming up on the field, Terry Kennedy.
The hammer throw getting to the final rounds, and Debbie Sozomenko about to wind up. She's been in heavy training, but still wants to dearly win in front of her home crowd. Puts the hands to the back of their heads. Looks to be a foul.
Yeah, just outside the sector on that final throw for Sozomenko. Okay on the release, but she knew it was out of the sector as soon as she let it go.
Women's hammer throw, and Debbie Sozomenko, despite the illegal throw on her final 62.92, has won the event from Denise Passmore 56.92, and McNaughton a good third with a throw of 56 metres.
As we go from the hammer back to the 100 metres, this is the second heat. David Baxter, the World Junior representative, in 2, Gavin Hunter 3. The new sensation, Patrick Johnson. Will we see Lewis versus Johnson? Not Ben, not Michael, but Patrick. He can make it through this heat. Jason Snell, also a World Junior rep, in 5. Andrew Pym in 6. Shim Holden 7. Patrick Stevens. He's an Olympic finalist in the 200 metres from Belgium. Good to see him here. And Ricky Nella 2. There's Patrick Johnson. Well, this will be his 4th or 5th 100-metre race. Certainly a newcomer. Stevens has got a very impressive personal best of 10.23. There's Ricky Nella 2 from the Queensland Academy of Sport. Ryan Whitney shall have an eye on the clock here. He just missed out in 2nd place in the previous heat. First 2 and the next 2 fastest.
On their marks now. Oh, and someone towards the outside was a little bit anxious. Nella 2, or perhaps the runner from Belgium, Patrick Stevens. We'll have a look at the replay, and that'll be able to pick up via David Colbert, who was a little anxious before the starter said go.
Well, there's plenty of reason to be anxious. Of course, if they finish in the first 2, here we go. And I would say that that is Patrick Stevens from Belgium. Well, I'm a little bit surprised that an athlete of his experience would break. Of course, athletes have 2 breaks here.
Call back to their marks now. Heat number 2 of the men's 100 metres. First 2 go through to the final. Patrick Johnson running in 4. And Patrick Stevens. Johnson slowly away. In fact, there's another breaker. Now, it's already Stevens being penalised once, and we'll have a look at the replay and see who has offended on this second occasion, David Calvert.
I think that was Andrew Pym in the all-white colours of the Sydney University Club. Yes, clearly there. So, a break each. Of course, each athlete can have 1 break, 2 breaks, and you pick up your box and get the marching orders.
I wonder what this does. David and Ray, I wonder what this does to Patrick Johnson. He's fairly inexperienced. Would he now be a bit nervous himself? He seems to be a bit slow out. He probably hasn't done a lot of block work. I'd be interested in his reaction here.
Well, to be honest, I don't think he's probably been in the situation before, so it's all new for him. You can see there that he's pretty composed.
Back to the box again.
He'd be concentrating on what he has to do, waiting for the bang, waiting for the beat of the bang.
Yeah, I'm impressed by him already. The first time I've got to see him, and he seems to be a huge talent, and we'll see right now.
So Johnson in lane 4. Away they go. He was slow at the start, and Patrick Stevens on the outside got away well. Going quickly, Hunter, and now Johnson going through the centre. Johnson gathers them in, and Patrick Johnson is easing down to win on the line. Second was Patrick Stevens, just in front, I think, of David Baxter. Oh, how easy was that? 10.29 is the time.
Wind assisted, unfortunately, for Patrick Johnson, but it doesn't matter. He's into the final. He got away probably the slowest of all of them. He'll have some companionship in the final because Lewis never gets away all that well. But, gee, didn't he gobble him up? Shades of Donovan Bailey. Mona.
He's very strong, isn't he, in the legs? He seems to almost wobble a bit, but, gee, didn't he come through well in the second half? I haven't seen him before, but I think I might see him again.
Well, Patrick Stevens also finished strongly. We can see the start here. Doesn't quite have the strength yet to get away from those blocks. Patrick Stevens up and running. Ricky Nella 2 on his outside. Jason Snell, the junior, got away well. Baxter came through strongly for 3rd, but through to the final will definitely be Johnson and Stevens. He has a bit of a look at the cross. Well, he likes it. A bit of a showmanship already.
Before we go any further, let's have a look at the results from the 400-metre hurdles.
Well, here are those results. Zed Abu Hamed, I should say. 49.70, Eric Thomas, 50 flat, and Rowan Robinson, 50.15. He'll be a little bit disappointed with that time in third place. Men's javelin, this is Nick Batty on the runway, currently in 6th place.
Hasn't been over the 80-metre mark at the moment. Looking to get that over the barrier, and Batty just struggling a little bit today.
Well, he knows the winds here, he knows the ground here. He actually works at the Sydney International Athletics Centre. So thank you to the boss to give him time off to be out here in the javelin competition today.
He's got their hands on the hip at the moment. It's a very, very tough field, the men's javelin at the moment. Andrew Curry, the Atlanta Olympian, is there and the hot favourite for this event with a personal best of 84.92. That appears to be Diggory Brook on screen at the moment. He's got a personal best of 74.56, so he's certainly up there and good enough to bother Andrew Curry.
Good conditions for the javelin throwers today. The men like to throw into, with the wind. The women will probably see them come from the other direction later in the day. They like to throw into the wind. The centre of gravity in the men's javelin different to the women's. So these boys like to have the big breeze.
Third place at the moment. He has a nice tail breeze. Diggory Brook lets it go, looking to get over the 70-metre mark. He does. It's around 73 metres below his personal best, Diggory Brook.
Just let the head of the javelin get away a little bit there on release. He knew it. So, not a personal best for Brook, but a good way to get into this men's javelin competition for him. So the action there's Batty, 72.60. That was his throw just a little bit earlier. He's currently in 3rd place. As we go back to the track, they're into the blocks. Henderson, Rooney, Hawkins, Tom, Woggy Anu, Paul Pearce, Mike Weiner, and a man that is no stranger to anyone, Dean Capobianco.
Capobianco running from number 9 in centre screen now. First 2 go through to the final, 3rd of 3 heats. On opposite sides of the track, Henderson and Capobianco got away well. Running quickly was Weiner. Pearce back behind them. Down on the inside, Henderson in front. Capobianco is struggling to qualify. Now he gets going. He'll run second, Capobianco behind Paul Henderson. Those two go through to the final, and the time was 10.30.
Well, a big win there for a big win and a big win. 5.0 the tail win, so what an enthralling final we have. They're away from the blocks. Capobianco away a little bit slowly. Henderson on the inside. Atlanta Olympic representative in this event. Relay specialist. And he looks like he's in form. Straining a little bit there. He switches off with about 20 metres to go. Save something for the final, Paul. Capobianco in 2nd. And I reckon Ryan Whitnish will be one of the fastest losers to go through. There's Henderson. So we had Bremicum 10.28. Stevens and Johnson virtually the same in around the same time, and then Henderson in 10.30. So nothing splitting the first 3 or 4, and they'll race King Carl Lewis at 6.55 this evening. So wherever you are around Australia, don't you go away, because that race will be here live on Sports Australia. The first and only time that we will see Carl Lewis competing in Australia. So a big thrill for some of those young athletes to go through to that final. And Steve, a couple of, before we come back to Steve Monaghetti, Amanda de Pledges with Paul Henderson.
Paul Henderson, well done. A terrific wind, a nice wind to push you along there too.
Yeah, it certainly was. I thought I might get a nice legal wind there, but fortunately you've got to just put up with the conditions you can get. But, you know, I felt comfortable, felt cruisy, just punched it out and had a bit left, you know, for the final. So just get ready for the final now.
What about backing up from Atlanta, and obviously not great results for you there? What have you been through over the last few months leading now into this domestic season again?
Basically, to overcome a hernia operation was one thing, but Atlanta was disappointing. But now I'm right on track, and hopefully we can get a win today. We'll just go in today and be be positive and you know, just take every race as it comes.
Well, good luck for the final, Paul.
Thanks a lot.
Here's our start list for the women's 100 metres. Jenny Thomas from the ACT in 2, Annette Lowe in 3, Mindy Slomka, the junior, in lane 4. The young Australian of the year, Nova Peris, she's had a busy couple of days. She runs the 100 metres here in lane 5. Rachel Massey in 6, Sonia Bradley in lane 7, and rounding out the field, Peter Gosby in lane 8. There's Nova Peris, and what a great reception she gets. Hockey gold medalist in Atlanta. From goals on the hockey field to goals on the track. She wants to make the relay team at the World Championships in Athens this year. And Steve, great courage from her. She could be safe in the hockey team and know that she's going to continue there, but she's decided she wants to be a gold medalist on the track.
You've got to admire the determination, and she's changed and switched adapted very quickly, and I'm sure if it's not on ability, it'll be with desire that she'll make that World Championship team. She's certainly running very well and got some good training partners. She's in the right group. She's doing it the right way, and it'll be interesting to see how she comes off the Australia Day Award. She'll have been a bit busy, I'm sure, but hopefully that won't affect her performance here tonight.
Mindy Slomka. I travelled down with one of my colleagues' sons from the coalfields, race caller Gary Harley, and I'm lucky I had his son with me. He tells me that Mindy comes from a little place north of Maitland. So I know a bit more about Mindy than I did when I got up this morning, thanks to him. A couple of changes to our program. Massey from 6, Eldridge from 9. There was a break there. It came, I think, from the youngster Mindy Slomka. We'll check the replay and David will confirm that. Of course, Nova Peris has drawn lane 5. She'll be 4th from the right-hand side of your screen with lane 1 vacant. Jenny Thomas in 2, Annette Lowe in 3, Slomka 4.
And Slomka definitely the breaker there. Well, it's a big day for her. She's just 16 years of age and a big crowd. She's got someone who's famous next to her. It'll be the first time really she's had the opportunity to compete in this sort of environment, and it does funny things to the mind sometimes. So yellow flag behind her there, so 1 break for Slomka.
Well, I've got someone famous next to me and I'm nervous as well, Steve Monaghetti.
Actually, Mindy spent time with the team up in Townsville pre-departure last year, so it's good to see her following that up now and putting it together on the track.
Nova Peris, away they go. Peris began pretty well down on the inside, Low and Thomas away okay. This side was Gosby and Eldridge. Now Peris is going together with Massey on her outside. Massey's in front, Peris into second. Massey's going to win, Peris second, or tight for third. Maybe Mindy Slomka, the 16-year-old, has grabbed third. 11.61 was the time. 11.61 is the time, and details to be confirmed.
Well, a great run there from Rachel Massey. She'll be delighted with that. Peris was certainly the first to react to the starter's gun. But on her outside, Rachel Massey was quick to grab her. Peris has certainly refined her style somewhat since '95 when she last competed. She made the 200 metre and 100 metre final at the National Championships that year. But Massey ran away from her, and a fast time, 11.61. Again, wind assisted. The wind has blown up. You can see there, Peris certainly the first to get away.
In fact, she got away that quickly, you'd almost think she'd broken, but that's, of course, in slow motion, which is much different to what the naked eye would have seen. And a big effort by the youngster from the coalfields, Mindy Slomka. I think she's got third.
Yeah, she'll be pleased with that run. Of course, the big guns in the sprint concentrating on the 200 metres today, Gainsford and also Freeman and Lauren Hewitt, but there's Rachel Massey with Amanda to pledge.
Rachel, congratulations, 11.61. Of course, the wind a major factor. Were you happy with that time?
Yeah, I felt really good. My warm-up went well, so I felt really good.
Now, looking at this event now, we're early in the domestic season. What are your goals from here on in?
Nationals and hopefully the relay team for World Championships later in the year.
You're certainly looking good for that. You're on fire today.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, you were pushed all the way by the Young Australian of the Year, who's also with us now, Nova Peris. Nova, terrific to see you in action. It's something that a lot of Australians have been waiting for a long time, ever since the Atlanta Olympics.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with my run. I was a bit worried because the last 4 days I've sort of been caught up in the celebrations. You know, it doesn't happen. It's just, that was a dream come true for me. So I've been told to sort of let my hair down and sort of chill the last 4 days, but I was very happy with that, yeah.
Certainly with that honour, a great way to start the new year, and it must inspire you to think, well, this is going to be a great year for Novus Perez.
Certainly was, it's very hard to cap off, winning Olympic gold medal, and so if you read about all the Olympians, they experience lows after the Olympics, but to achieve this honour, knowing that, you're there to inspire other young Australians, certainly does keep me motivated.
Nova Perez, it was an honour to talk to you. Well done today.
Thank you.
Yeah, great run there. Here are our results in the 100 metres. Rachel Massey, 11.49. Well, the clock was 11.61, so she'll be absolutely delighted with that time, 11.49. Nova Perez, 11.60. A good run for her. And Mindy Slomka and Annette Lowe both dipping under 12 seconds. So wind assisted, but your feet still have to move that quickly. So Rachel Massey will be delighted with the win. She won't be delighted with the win. And 11.49, a good time for her. So from the 100-metre results to the men's javelin, Terry Kennedy.
Andrew Curry on the runway, round 2. He started off with 2 victories so far in the domestic season. In the Atlanta Olympics, Curry likes to throw with a breeze at his back, gives it the big holler, and gets it out over the yellow line, short of his Australian national record. Uses full use of the runway here. Curry, the hot favourite, looking for victory number 3 from 3 outings, and you can see by the clap of the hands, he's pretty happy about that, working on the technique. Andrew Curry, second round, over the 80-metre mark, 80.24. Good throw by Curry. Now,
so from Gavin Lovegrove on the runway in the men's javelin, he fouled his first round throw, so he's under a little bit of pressure. Let's now have a look at other action in the field. A big clash in the men's shot put. Terry Kennedy caught up with our 2 young shot put stars.
Justin Enelzak. They are young men, but boys just the same. Justin Enelzak and Clay Cross. Both over 110 kilograms or 17 stone plus in the old scale. It adds up to a lot of explosive power, all driven from the tip of the toes to the vocal cords.
Come on!
The pair staged a thrilling duel at the World Junior Championships in Sydney. Cross, the son of former league star Paul, was the pre-event favourite.
Gives himself a bit of a come on.
But it was the giant timber cutter from Queensland, Enelzak, who provided the fireworks, cracking the 18-metre barrier for the first time in competition.
He likes that one, and it's over 18 metres. Fantastic performance for Enelzak.
At one stage, the 2 Aussies had the gold and silver medals wrapped up. But the big German, Rolf Bartels, produced something special on his 6th and final throw.
That looks like a good throw. He likes it, and it's out there.
Enelzak had one final chance to grab the gold.
And that won't be good enough. So he'll have to be content with the silver medal.
I couldn't have done better than that. I did a PB of 31 centimetres and I've cracked the 18 mark finally, so I'm happy with the silver medal. If it took a bronze, I would have got a bronze for it, but I'm happy with the medal.
After winning the bronze medal, Cross has no doubt he and Enelzak will make the transition from the junior ranks to the seniors.
There's plenty of good coaches around, like my coach Nick Anderson and Justin's coach James. There's plenty of great coaches around and plenty of great talent, and now it's being nurtured and it's coming through.
Cross may have been upstaged at the World Juniors, but he opened the season with a win over Enelzak in Canberra, and he's determined now to grab back the #1 position.
I'm hoping to win back my national crown again in the Opens and the Juniors, and hopefully qualify for the World Championships in August.
Well, plenty of excitement here as Carl Lewis is being introduced to the crowd by Michael Knight, the Minister for the Olympics. And as you can hear, there he is, the great Carl Lewis, Sydney 2000 cap on the head. And plenty of photographers there, just over an hour to go until the great man sets foot on track for the first time. So great to see Carl Lewis here. He's certainly been to Sydney a couple of times in the past, but never actually set foot on the track. So we look forward to seeing him in action, and we saw those men's 100-metre heats just a little bit earlier, and in a little over an hour, Carl Lewis will hit the track here in Sydney. Plenty of action still to come. We'll be back after this break.
See
emotional and competitive. In February 1997, this is ESPN.
That is magnificent!
There's the English Premier League and the spectacular World Cup qualifiers.
Oh, what a goal!
Full coverage of live NBA continues, and you can feel the power of the world's biggest hitters in the NFL.
Intercepted, and he might go all the way!
Prepare yourself for the radical Winter X Games and the explosive NHL.
Oh, what a save by Irving!
Andre Agassi leads the U.S. into the Davis Cup, while Goran Ivanisevic defends his Dubai Open crown.
He had to hit the winner. It's been a magnificent match so far.
And we turn back the clock with Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, Arnold Palmer and Ray Floyd in the Senior PGA Tour.
Great shot. Are you kidding me? My goodness. Fabulous.
Catch all the sporting action this February with the world's largest sporting network, ESPN.
Well, plenty of action still to come here. Welcome back to Homebush, and Melinda Gainsford and Lauren Hewitt in the 200 metres. Kathy Freeman goes in the 400 metres, and Sonia O'Sullivan in the women's 800. Just some of the action still in store. Men's shot put is underway. Clay Cross and Justin Anelzark. We saw Terry Kennedy's great package with them. Here's the woodcutter from Queensland, Justin Anelzark, one of your favourites, Terry.
He is the former timber cutter from Queensland, now a tomato grower. And Anelzark keeps the crowds entertained. He loves giving it the big heave and then the scream.
So the multi-skilled Queenslander, we could call it.
There's not much he can't do. Anelzark, who improved his personal best by close to 40 centimetres at the World Junior Championships. The man going into the World Juniors, the hot favourite was Clay Cross, and Anelzark has really made great bounds up the world stage in the shot put. And in fact, here is Clay Cross now, about to step into the circle. It's been a great battle between these two, and in fact they have been spurred on after criticism from the Sports Commission that Australia cannot compete in the shot put and Olympic Games. In fact, these two could very well be our first representatives in the shot put and Olympic competition in some 40 years, because they certainly have the form on the board. If you take a line through their World Junior performances, very proud of his national record is Clay Cross. Been in good form so far this season. Had a convincing victory over Anelzark down in Canberra at the Grand Prix. And there it is, round two, 17-22. He's currently in second position, Dave.
So from the shot put to the men's 800 metres. Great scenes here at Homebush. Certainly the crowd here like never before. James McIntyre in 1 and Adam Somerville in 2. Justin Rinaldi 3. The Western Australian Thomas in 4. World Junior Champion from 1992, Paul Byrne in lane 5. Grant Kremer, the World Junior bronze medalist from here in Sydney last year in lane 6. Michael Haynes 7. Joel Story in 8. And Martin Lord Byron goes in lane 9. Well, he'll certainly have the crowd behind him. Here, Martin Byron. There's McIntyre. Certainly likes to go out hard. He's in the inside lane. In the yellow top with the blue stripe is Grant Kremer. Just on his inside, Paul Byrne. And there's Martin Byron on the outside. So we've got a big field here in the men's 800 metres. And promises to be one of the most exciting events on the program today. There's Byron. Personal best this season of 1:48.52, outside his all-time best of 1:47.12. There's plenty of speed. Former 400-metre runner. Was second in Canberra before Christmas, and then fourth in the Optus Grand Prix meeting in Canberra a couple of weeks ago.
Now away they go at the first attempt in the men's 800 metres. A field of 9 here. Of course, they run on the stagger till they reach the top of the back straight, then come off the stagger. And as they're about to do that now, Kremer looks like he's going to show out in front, although kicking up towards the inside. Somerville, Rinaldi's back in behind them, and dropping back towards the tail is McIntyre. They're about to go down the back now on the first occasion. and spread out over around 15 or 20 metres of magnificent afternoon in Sydney. The sun streaming down and the crowd well over the 10,000 mark now as they go to the top corner on the first occasion.
Well, Adam Somerville from New South Wales is doing the pacemaking here, and Grant Cremer absolutely locked to his shoulder, as he should be. He's decided that that's the pace that he wants, and it's good to see the youngster Steve Monaghetti really going and sticking with the pacemaker.
It is, and this is the toughest of all track events, they say. You've got to be a bit of a sprinter, but you've got to have a bit of staying power too. It's a long way down the straight. They'll go through the bell, and Grant Cremer's doing a great job here hanging on. We'll look for James McIntyre and Martin Byron to come home hard, though.
Okay, they've left the bell behind them and they move to the top corner now, and Cremer has gone right away. He leads by about 10 or 15 metres now. He's in one race at the moment, the others are in another, but they're starting to make a little ground on him now as he goes towards the 300 metres and inside it. And Cremer is a big leader, although that lead, which was around 10 or 12 metres, is now being cut back to some extent. I think Michael Hain is currently running in second position, and Paul Byrne is back behind them. So on the top corner they go now, and the leader still here is Cremer. He leads out by about 15 or 16 metres. Running into second position now is Hain, and then back behind them came Paul Byrne into third position, but Cremer's got almost an unassailable lead into the straight, and Grant Cremer's coming away to win quite convincingly on the line. Pretty good battle for the miners. Any one of 3 or 4 runners could get it, but Cremer's going to win. Hain is probably just going to get grabbed for second. Oh no, I think he hung on to run second, and it's tight for third. Martin Byron got home quickly on the outside.
Personal best for Grant Cremer, and he has got class stamped all over him. He went with the pacemaker, and you don't often see that. He was pretty happy to back his judgment, and why wouldn't he be? He's got a pretty big lead there, and he just set sail for home and increased the lead as he went. The personal best, Steve Monaghetti.
He said, catch me if you can, and they didn't. And Paul Byrne, who's come off an injury, and he certainly was, I think he was in the battle for the minor plate, might have just got up for third, but gee, there's daylight there for second, that's for sure. It's a very impressive run by Grant Cremer.
He's really got the sort of the class of an Ovett or a Coe or a Cram.
He's very up. He's certainly got, he's very strides well to the line, got the chest up, and you know, you often see the 800-metre runners struggling down the straight, but he runs to the line very strongly. Yeah, I'm impressed by Grant.
It's a big call putting him in that sort of class. Of course, Ovett, Coe and Cram, probably the 3 best of all time in this event.
We have a great history, though, in 800 metres. Ralph Dobell, and we've certainly produced a couple, Simon Doyle and Brendan Hannigan recently, and Grant's come off the back of those top-line runners, and he's very happy with that.
Well, our friends at the Sports Commission will be pleased to know that this is another event where we cannot produce, and Grant Cremer, well done.
A terrific race, really a dream race, I suppose. You had it all locked up, it was all yours.
Yeah, I was hoping to run a bit quicker. I didn't really want to be out in the second lap all myself, but no one else had the pace going, so that's how I ended up.
Still, did you plan the race to go like that, to get out with the bunny at the front, and did you expect to be out the front so dominant like that?
I thought I could win it going into it. I didn't think I'd win it that easily. I thought I would have seen someone else during the race, but that's the way it ended up.
You were third at World Juniors last year, really stepping up the competition now, getting into this elite level. Do you like that? I mean, do you feel that it's been like a progression now into the top ranks for you?
It doesn't feel any different. It's exactly the same. I'm really happy about the way I ran. It's good to come out the first time in Grand Prix and have a win.
Terrific, well done, Grant Cremer.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Yes, well done indeed, sorry.
Interesting there, Dave. I think, you know, that's a third place at the World Juniors, and I think that's great, because if you win, sometimes you lose that hunger, whereas Grant's still got it.
Clay Cross in second place at the moment, looking to improve. He needs to another 25 centimetres to get himself into first place. This will be close, but he might remain in second. Currently in first, 17.63 for Clay Cross, so he's in front. That's where he likes it.
So from the men's shot put, we go over to the javelin throw. Here's Gavin Lovegrove, the New Zealander.
3-time Commonwealth Games gold medalist, Gavin Lovegrove, round 4 throw. Good breeze assisting the javelin throwers. That is out there. Good throw, over 70 metres. around the 74 mark, and this man provides great competition for Andrew Curry. He's ranked about number 4 in the world, 74.44. Currently in second place, Gavin Lovegrove. A great battle with Curry going on in the javelin.
Well, he's a great performer. Gavin Lovegrove will give Andrew Curry every bit of competition that he needs here today. Great run from Grant Cremer. Steve, we were just saying before that that performance by Cremer showing a lot of class, but plenty of courage too.
Yeah, to go out, and I like the kid's attitude. You've got to give him credit. He said he thought he'd go out on the pace, have a tougher race than that, but he wasn't scared to run from the front, and that's the way you've got to do it. Certainly, we get as many internationals out here, but if it happens, he knows the track. He's a local. He took it up the back into the wind and came home strongly, and as a guy that you think he'll go overseas, compete internationally, and he'll be able to cut it because he's done it hard here by himself, and we see that when people are prepared to have a go here by themselves, they get overseas into international competition, they get a bit of a carry, get in a good fast race, and I think you'll see Grant run a lot faster than that.
It's a little bit disappointing that the other athletes didn't go with the pacemaker. They all get together before the race, as you know, to decide what the pace will be, and why wouldn't they sit on the pacemaker's shoulder in that first lap?
Speaking personally, it's probably early in the season, and you know, there's a couple of guys that maybe have come off the Christmas, they've trained hard, they may not be race fit yet. They'll find that maybe tonight was just a bit of a blow the cobwebs out, have a bit of a look. They may have thought the pace was a bit quick. It's a little bit windy, so they may have said, oh well, we'll let him go, we'll get in our own race here and come home. 800 metre, you either run from the front or you come from behind, and those that chose to run from behind were caught napping today.
Yeah, great run from Grant Cremer, and he'll remember the day that he ran on the same track as Carl Lewis, the King, just a little bit under an hour away, and we've got this profile with him. He caught up with Kathy Freeman interviewing Carl Lewis at the press conference yesterday.
It's funny, your mind goes before the body.
Oh, good. Yeah.
No,
yeah. Okay. I mean, obviously you've got great history. You look at it on paper, it's fantastic. Of your 9 gold medals, which one are you most proudest of?
You know, it's interesting. Well, by far the first and the last, because of the first. You know, the first one was my first one, but the last one probably stands out a little bit more, and that's because this last season, well, yeah, the past season was the first time I said, this is the last time I'm going to do it. I mean, it's funny because when you get into a period in your life where you start saying, well, this is the last time I'll ever do this again, it's really a strange thing to hear.
Scary.
You know, so it took a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people hung in there all year long. The season started off slow, just like this season. I mean, basically, it means I'm going to be Olympic champion this year because I started off with the same position last year. But there were a lot of people that were there at that time, kept encouraging me, stayed involved. And I was really happy, not only to win the medal, but for the people that kind of were there that I know were just biting their nails off in the stands, you know, saying, God, can you do it?
Yeah.
That's who I was really happiest for, because they were there all the way through.
They get a lot of joy out of what you do. Were you really disappointed when you didn't get a 10th Olympic?
No, that was
the chance to.
Yeah, that was kind of overplayed quite a bit by a lot of people, and that story became a story of itself. Because there was really only one issue, and the issue was whether the coach wanted me to run or not, and he didn't. So, that was kind of it. So obviously, or a lot of times when you don't have anything to fill in the blanks, stories take on lives of themselves. But the one thing I did resent about the whole thing is how people are making such a big deal about getting the 10th medal. I mean, they didn't realize that I was awfully darn proud to get 9. I mean, that was really kind of it was ridiculous. It's like you guys are making all this big deal about getting 10, and I have 9 medals. I mean, that's not enough. So it really, when you really stop and think about it, I mean, I think they got so wrapped up in the 10th, and that we forgot that I was awfully proud of that. And the games ended, and of that whole situation, the only sad thing is that we didn't win the relay. It wasn't really whether I got it or not, it's the fact that we didn't win it, So that was that, and the games was a great experience for me.
Great press conference yesterday with Kathy Freeman and Carl Lewis. The room was packed. Ray Hadley, you were there that night in Atlanta. It was a fair night. Kathy Freeman won the silver medal in the 400 metres. Michael Johnson won the 400 gold medal, and then Lewis collected his 9th gold.
Yeah, I think people often say, I've been fortunate enough to be in Barcelona and I guess to rugby league finals in the UK at Wembley and rugby union finals, but if someone tried to pinpoint a night that I remember most, it would be that night in Atlanta. just the thing that struck me most, I don't know if you remember it, but the sea of cameras as runners went down the back of the track at the 200, saying the 400, it was like a sea, like a Mexican wave of flashbulbs going down the track. It was just incredible, and it's a night that I'll long remember, obviously because of Kathy's superb effort, but being there when Michael Johnson won the 400, and just unbelievable. Then you watch a guy like Carl Lewis there, and 9 gold medals, completely unaffected, he seems to me.
It's unusual because he's been such a mystery man, and this is the first time I've really seen him come out and actually talk openly and freely. He seems like a man liberated, and that's what I've really enjoyed about his time here in Australia. He's been so free with the media, and he's had that aura and that sense of mystique about him when he was competing. So it's nice to see him be able to come out and open up a bit with the public.
Yeah, certainly one of the greatest athletes of all time, if not the greatest athlete, and certainly enjoying his final year. Let's have a look now at the men's 800-metre results. So Grant Cremer, he'll be delighted with the win. 1:48.15, also a personal best, so great double there. Paul Byrne, the world junior champion from 92 in second. Dead heating with Michael Hayne. You don't see that all that often. Martin Byron, triple dead heat, the Hotham handicap. It couldn't be. Well, fantastic performance there. Haven't seen a triple dead heat all that often in track and field, so I've certainly been surprised. Well, after the break, we'll come back. Women's 200-metre action with Melinda Gainsford.
After the break, Olympian and Australian record holder Kyle Vanderkuyp takes to the high hurdles, and Melinda Gainsford-Taylor makes her return in the 200. Stay with us.
They can't touch him. Oh, what a try. The Wicks have done it again.
This is a knockout. Optus Vision has a brand new exclusive channel.
Good God.
Main attraction, Channel 41, Australia's first residential pay-per-view channel. You pay for the special events you want to see.
Whose moment of glory is it?
Main attraction is boxing, wrestling, and in the future, concerts, movies, and more.
Atomic Bull, Oliver McCool.
Special television event starting Saturday, February 8th with the big opening event live from Las Vegas. Boxing's Fight of the Year, hard-hitting British champion Lennox Lewis versus bad boy Oliver McCall. This fight will create the new WBC World Heavyweight Champion. Just see Channel 41, main attraction for more details. And remember, you can only see the event by ringing 1-300-300-666. Lewis versus McCall. They've met before in a controversial bout. But now, who is the best? Ring 1-300-300-666. Book now. See the fight.
Somebody likes it.
Oh! The legends of world golf battled for the bucks with the senior skin. Tonight at 8:30 on ESPN.
Plenty to look forward to still here. Welcome back to Homebush and Ray Hadley. The footballer sprint coming up. Now, I'm a Mexican from south of the border. There's a couple of AFL players here, a couple of National Soccer League players, but I think you've got the lowdown on most of them.
I have indeed, and Steve Monaghetti's asked me if he could call this particular event, all three in fact. So Mona's, it's over you, 60 metres.
As a matter of fact, Ray, you might find this hard to believe, but the guy in lane 10, if he's running Mark Orchard, actually comes from my hometown, Ballarat.
Is that right?
And he can sprint, that guy. He should have been an athlete, not a footballer. So
well, of course,
look out for him if he's running.
They won't beat Shane Werrett, will they? Surely.
Well, he's in heat number 3, the Flying Machine, formerly with Eastern Suburbs and now with Parramatta. He's made the move across there. Last year's winner comes from a rugby union club in Sydney, Warringah. He's apparently blessed with plenty of pace. His name's Bill Spolaric. And there's a famous name there, Anwar Fredericks as well. Now, I don't know if he's any relation to Frankie, but if he's any relation at all, even a distant cousin, he should be able to run.
Well, he should be able to go. That's coming up a little bit later. Let's go back to the men's shot put. In the field events, one of the highlights here, they're in the circle that they used at the World Junior Championships, so friendly territory for Clay Cross.
Round 4 now, the business end of the shot put. Clay Cross has never thrown past 18 metres, 17.99 his best. He's happy with that, you can tell by the roar.
Well, it's a little bit hard from this angle.
Have a look at it, he says.
But it looks like it's over 18 metres.
This would be the first time he's ever been over 18 metres, Clay Cross. His PB is 17.99, 18.04. He has broken the barrier. He's in first place, and now he can surely kick on.
So men's javelin, this is Adrian Hatcher from the Victorian Institute of Sport. He's in third. You can see it there, and it's 80-80.
77.34, his personal best. He's close to that mark. It's a very stiff competition though, Dave Colbert, isn't it? Lovegrove, Curry, Hatcher.
Adrian Hatcher's actually from Ballarat as well, and he's made the move up.
God, everyone comes from Ballarat.
That's true. And he's made the move up. He's training with Andrew Curry, and gee, it's certainly paying results. It's a great throw.
78.34, that's a personal best for Adrian Hatcher, so he's in great form here at the Sydney Athletic Field. That's a good breeze following these javelin throwers, but he'll take that personal best up over 78 metres. There's Andrew Curry in the background. Of course, what a combination he's formed at the moment with Louise McPaul.
Yeah, boyfriend and girlfriend training down in Wollongong with Peter Taylor, and also now, as Mona mentioned, Adrian Hatcher. Hatch was actually just calling for that one to be marked, because it will be a Victorian country record for him.
So Andrew
taking
Curry.
Steve Monaghetti's Victorian country record.
Yeah, just slightly ahead of my throw. I almost get it past the runway, but I think he's slightly eclipsed that.
Andrew Curry normally enjoys throwing at Perry Lakes in Perth because they get that big Fremantle doctor that comes in behind them, but today he's enjoying throwing at the Sydney Athletic Field, the Olympic Stadium, and trying to warm up. He's already thrown 83.88 this season and 82.30. So they are very, very competitive throws. In fact, they gave him victories in both the domestic Grand Prix seasons. And Andrew Curry went to the Atlanta Olympics, was a little bit disappointing, looking for a big one. Good throw by Curry. Not quite as big as he would have liked, and nowhere near the 80-metre marker.
So we leave Andrew Curry there, and well, there's a few blokes lining up. Here's the first heat of the footballer split. Creary, Savage, Raffines, Nix, Carey, Rhymes, Bushby, and the man Steve Monaghetti's going to be cheering for, Mark Orchard from the Sydney Swans.
I've had a bit of luck here. There have been 3 or 4 scratchings. It could be one of those American race callers, and away they go. Photo. 60 metres. Savage is there. Savage away okay. In fact, he lost it a metre away quickly. Mark Orchard. Look at the boy from Ballarat. He's going to run second and winning it back over on the inside. Stephen Carey, one of the Swans, I think you'll find. Well, Mark Orchard did show a little bit of pace, as predicted by Steve Monaghetti.
Yeah, gee, slowed down in his football days. He should have won by 5 metres there, I thought, Ray. He was quick out of the blocks, but struggle a bit. Maybe he's put on a bit of bulk up there at the Swans.
Well, Stephen Carey, I think, has won it. Second placing will go to Orchard, and the first 3 go through. I think that Lindsay Rhymes from the Sydney University Rugby Union Club will get third, and they go through to the final later today.
Well, we saw some techniques earlier, some sprinting techniques. Well,
I think the off-the-shoulder numbers the go here with Orchard. I think that's the go. It's a nice go, off the shoulder.
Well, that was heat 1. Here's heat 2. Hodgson, Babbage from Coney, Fredericks, the man that Ray Hadley's got his money on. Spalaric, last year's winner. Burns, White, Milford and Roberts. They're not all there, and Ray's pretty thankful.
We know that, Dave, but are they running?
Don't talk about Terry like that, fellas, because they're lining up in heat 2 here. How are you going down there with the field events, Tez, all right?
Oh, mate, there's a couple of great battles going on at the moment in the shot put and also the javelin. We might even return to the javelin at the moment. Lovegrove up against Curry. Hatcher's also there. But Andrew Curry on the runway.
I said before that he was coached by Peter Taylor. Of course, I meant Peter Lawler. Sorry, Peter. You'll be upset with me for that one.
He's an Australian cricket selector at the moment, is Peter Taylor, but Andrew Curry.
He's also a throws coach from New South Wales, so... But as Peter Lawler, here's Andrew Curry, the 25-year-old, known as cousin to his mates in the Australian team. Big, strong boy.
He's in front, and he wants to stay that way. He's already thrown over 80 metres. That one is short of the 80-metre mark. but he might just hang on here. We're into the final round.
Perhaps just a little bit too high on the release that time for Curry. And in fact, a foul just went over the white line with the hand. So throws the back brace down in disgust.
Well, some of the gear being worn by these rugby league, rugby union, AFL and soccer players is not what you'd call classic athletics gear. There's a bloke there in a pair of low shorts you can get for about $9.99 at the moment. In lane number 2, Babbage it is. Now Hodgson from Western Suburbs away only fairly. Over on the outside, Polaric, last year's winners going quickly. And Milford, Laloa Milford from Balmain has won the race. Laloa got there from last year's winner, Bills Polaric from Warringah Rugby Union Club. And I'm not quite sure whether Zelko Babbage from Marconi or Enwar Fredericks, obviously no relation to Frankie, has run 3rd or 4th.
Well, Milford was impressive there, and if he's following in the footsteps of Patrick Johnson, who got signed up for Super League but said, no thank you, I want to represent Australia in track and field, Milford's got some form. I reckon he's the man to beat.
It looks like Andrew Roberts from the Newcastle Falcons has got 3rd over in lane number 9. Gee, he looked again like he was fired out of a cannon, Bills Polaric.
Well, Milford competes for, get off the track, David, onto the field. Plays for Balmain. Darren Clark's a coach there, so perhaps the former Australian 400-metre champion has had some of the shine rub off on young Milford there for Balmain. And a great scene here.
What do you think that crowd would be now? Are we up over 12 or 14,000?
Well, I'm not sure. I've never seen this many people here, that's for certain. There's heat 3. I reckon it's about 12 or 14. A little bit more than the 3,000 you said earlier.
Well,
here's Werrett. I reckon he's the favourite. Let's get back to the action.
Oh, I was counting the empty seats.
Scott Robinson from Neighbours goes in 3.
You're a nice give up, you are.
Scott in 4, Allen 5, Lucia, Mutton, Patton and Grant, but Werrett will be all over the favourite here. Won a couple of Bay Sheffields. Certainly has won the footballer's sprint there the last couple of years. Bay Sheffield, I should say the Botany Bay gift.
Yeah. When you're built like Werrett, you're not entitled to wear a singlet, really. I mean, it gives no one else a chance. Werrett, Scott Robinson from Parramatta Rugby Union Club alongside him, but it should be Werrett. Martin Patton, someone I don't know too much about. He may be one of the black Americans trialling with the Roosters.
Shane the Ferret Werrett. Does he run that well, Dave?
He does. He'd be like a rat up a drain pipe here too. He's away good from the blocks. Interesting starting technique on the second outside.
And Werrett again best over on this side of the track. Aaron Grant and Martin Patton go quickly, but Shane Werrett, he's going to be favourite. The South Sydney boy will run second. I think you'll find Aaron Grant in front of Martin Patton, and those 3 likely to go through to the final. And Shane Werrett will start long odds-on favourite to win the rugby league, or I should say the footballer's 60-metre sprint later tonight.
Well, 6.97. Terry Kennedy's dashed out the back to get his money on Shane Werrett, but I think the odds are now well and truly in the red for Shane Werrett. And you can see that there that certainly some experience. And he's certainly been doing some bicep curls in the off-season.
Monash, you were built a bit like that until this marathon caper came upon you, weren't you, in your younger days?
I have done weights in my time, actually, Ray, but I didn't end up looking like Shane, I can tell you. I don't know, I was lifting the wrong ones. Maybe I should have put some weights on the bar as well, might have helped.
Well, a great run there from Shane Werrett. We'll see the final of that race later in the day, so a great opportunity for them also to hit the track with the great Carl Lewis, but Shane Werrett or perhaps Milford, Ray?
Oh, no, I don't think they'll get near Shane Werrett. Milford comes from a line of footballing brothers there. There's another player, I think, who was with Penrith, Asa Milford, but no, Shane Werrett, I think he'll win the race easily. He has the advantage over the others of having done quite a bit of sprinting professionally prior to taking up his career. In fact, he was spotted at that Botany Bay gift you're talking about by, I think, Jack Gibson, who was connected with the East Club at that time.
Won the Botany Bay gift a couple of times as Shane Werrett, also the Stall gift, so he's certainly got that sprinting pedigree, and he's not a bad rugby league player also, and going around for a new club in 1997 in Parramatta.
Okay, let's go from that footballer's sprint to the start list for the women's 100-metre hurdles. And Cheryl Morrow, the heptathlete who this season is specialising in the hurdles and the high jump. We saw her in action in Perth. Jackie Munro in 2. Claire Thompson, the heptathlete based at the AIS in Canberra in 3. Well, Simone Purvis, she knows this track well. Unfortunately for her, she fell over at the second last hurdle at the World Junior Championships here. Devastation for her there, but can make amends here. Nicole Gale in 5. Good to see Jane Fleming back on the track, the golden girl from the 1990 Commonwealth Games. And businesswoman now, but still continuing her track and field career, has put the heptathlon on hold and will concentrate on both the 100 and 400 metre hurdles this season. Rachel Links in 7, Debbie Edwards in 8, and Donna Hanna in lane 9. And Steve Monaghetti, there's Jane Fleming. She'll be a little bit nervous. First run for the season for her in the special new outfit.
Good looking gear there. She's certainly she's got a lot of business going, as you mentioned, Dose, but business out on the track tonight, that's where it'll be. And the people beside her won't be worrying about her business acumen, and it's different once you're out on the track. Good to see her back running, and I'm sure she doesn't step on the track unless she's in good shape. I'd be happy to say, stick my neck out and say she's the most competitive athlete I've ever met.
Just getting a few last-minute tips there from Kyle Vanderkuyp. He'll go in the men's hurdles in just a few moments. But how will she be feeling tonight? You know what it's like to have come back from a bit of a layoff and injury. The butterflies will certainly be going, and perhaps a little bit of nervous conversation.
Yeah, to be honest, I think she'd be looking forward to it, and I'll be interested to see her reaction. Hopefully, if she wins, we'll get an interview with Jane or otherwise. But I think she'll be excited. She'll be glad to get back on the track. It's all the hard work when you're not, you know, behind the scenes. It can be tough. It's once you get to this stage, you're almost looking forward to the event itself.
Well, there's Simone Purvis. She was almost like in fact, she was the giggling teenager in Perth when she realised that she'd be running against her idol, Jane Fleming. She said she couldn't believe it. She said she's watched her on TV all these years, and now I'm going to get to run against her. There's Claire Thompson. Thompson and Fleming share coaches. Craig Hilliard. Fleming now based in Sydney. Claire Thompson moved from Queensland to go down to the AIS in Canberra. Personal best there of 13.89, but more of a heptathlon specialist. Had a couple of years off where she actually, they thought for a little while that she might have cancer, but fortunately for her that wasn't the case. There's 186, Debbie Edwards from New South Wales.
You can see there Jane sitting down on the track as she does it. It's amazing, you know, after all these years we still go back to our same preparation before the event. Jane always goes through this ritual, and nothing changed. It's good to see she's back to using those successful techniques. That's what's worked for her in the past, and she's using it again here tonight.
You can see her there just bobbing the head as she clears each hurdle. 3 steps between each of these hurdles. 10 flights, 100 metres a distance, and Fleming, a great personal best, 12.98. Only 2 Australians all time have dipped under the 13-second mark. Fleming is one. Pam Ryan, of course, the 68 silver medalist, is the other. 12.93 is her national record. They won't get anywhere near that today, I wouldn't imagine. But for Jane, important that she gets through this race unscathed. As we look at Claire Thompson, big moment for these young athletes.
It's funny how some things stick in your mind. Every time I see these hurdles being put up for a women's event, I think back to Barcelona in 1992, and a girl called Patuladu, I think her name is, the first Greek woman to ever win a gold medal in a track event.
Of course, Galdiva's there almost all over the winner. Fell up the last hurdle, and Patadaloo or Padoodaloo or...
Well, I think a Greek cab driver told me it was Pataludu, but it's hard to get out of the habit of saying Patuladu or Pataludu. But anyway, she's a Greek girl. She knows who she is, and she won it. And she was basically, I guess, even lucky to make the final on times. And it just goes to show, Steve Monaghetti, you get to an Olympic final and anything can happen.
That's right. Certainly, Galdiva's thought she had it won, but you've got to clear it. That's what the hurdles are about. You've got to get over them before you can get to the finish line.
So for these young athletes, and one old athlete, Jane Fleming, just being introduced now, 31 years of age, recently married to long-time boyfriend Matt Favier in Melbourne. And they've put the honeymoon on hold until after the season, so certainly a very focused athlete.
31 years old. Gee, I hope that's not old, Dave. Not yet anyway.
Well, me being just a youngster, Mona, 31 seems like an eternity away.
Call to the blocks now for the women's 100-metre hurdles. Jane Fleming making a return to the track. Will run from lane 6. Field of 9. There she is, just bolt upright in the blocks now and in centre camera. Morrow, Munro, Thompson, Purvis, Gale, Fleming, Links, and she's not quite happy there, Jane. She put her hand in the air to indicate that she wanted to reset herself. I got to her in lane 6, Jane Fleming, Rachel Links in 7, Debbie Edwards in 8, and Donna Henner on the outside of the field of 9.
Shows her immense experience, though. She wasn't ready, and she did take quite some time to get down into her on the marks and set position, and I'm sure the starter will give her a little bit of a hurry up. But as is her right, she put her hand in the air, signalling to the starter that she wasn't ready.
Morrow, Malone, Thompson, Purvis, Gale, Fleming, Links, Edwards, Henner. Away for a fair start this time. Fleming was away fairly in the centre. Over on here inside, Gale and Purvis going quickly as well. Back on the inside, Thompson, Morrow and Munro. Back on this side was Donna Henner. Jane Fleming locked in a battle with Nicole Gale. Fleming's in front and Fleming wins from Gale. It's very tight for third. Simone Purvis was there, and back over on the inside, Morrow, Munro, Thompson. But Jane Fleming returns. 13:89 was the time recorded.
Well, she was, took a while to get to them, but plenty of determination for Jane Fleming. She's a little bit rusty over the hurdles. You can see here that she's probably clearing them by more than she would like. Gale and both Gale and Purvis, the two teenagers right there by her side, but Fleming prevails. Gale clipped that one, and that was enough to give Jane Fleming the margin of victory. We can see here the head-on from the right of screen is Thompson, Purvis, Gale and Fleming. You can see Jane Fleming just in comparison to Gale particularly. Gale right down low over the hurdles.
Certainly taking no risk there, Dave. She's clearing those pretty comfortably.
There's Purvis there. Have a look at the trail leg of Purvis. That was the one that got her in all sorts of bother here at the World Juniors. Doesn't really clear the hurdles, comes across very low. Gale dips, but not quite enough, and a little bit of relief for Jane Fleming. She's with Amanda to pledge.
Jane Fleming, it must be good to be back and to be in winning form.
I'm just glad to get through it, actually. I haven't raced for 19 months, so even to look at 10 flights of hurdles is a bit scary, and I had a little bit of a hiccup in my warm-up, so I was just glad to get through it, to tell you the truth.
And what were you thinking when you're sort of checking out your opposition? I guess there's a few new faces there, and you're sort of thinking, hang on, I'm back and I am the original queen, so watch out.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't hurdle very well. I must admit I warmed up better than that, but as I said, I had a hiccup. Hopefully from now on it'll just get better. I've certainly blown a few cobwebs out, and I think maybe just my experience the last 50 metres pulled me through, but I don't really like to rely too much on that.
Now, what about the rest of the year? What are your goals from here? I guess now you're over this initial hurdle, that you sort of want to sort of concentrate on what you're going to be up to for the next of the year.
Yeah, well, I'm actually planning on running a 400-metre hurdles at some stage, and obviously some more sprint hurdles, but I'm just going to take it as it comes on. You know, I'm almost a novice back here again with this, having not raced for so long, so I just hope to enjoy it from now. There's too many butterflies to enjoy it today, but hopefully next meet I'll have a bit of a smile on my face even beforehand.
Jane Fleming, great to have you back. Terrific.
Thank you very much. Good to be back. It's a great crowd in Sydney too. It's great.
Well, it is a great crowd, Jane, and there are the results. 13:88 for her. Not her best time, but a win for her in her first race back. Nicole Gale in second, Simone Purvis in third, and Cheryl Morrow. She's been performing exceptionally well. She was in fourth place. So from the women's results in the hurdles, we go to the javelin.
Gavin Lovegrove on the runway. He has twice thrown over 87 metres in Europe during their season. Now Gavin Lovegrove, the New Zealand champion, in third place, has to beat 80 metres. Just looks to be under that mark at the moment. Lovegrove, third position. Curry is the current leader. Hatcher also going well.
He's been a great performer for a long time. Third in the World Junior Championships, the first edition of that back in 1986. And he is the winner today. On that last throw, 81.28, just sneaking in front of Andrew Curry, 80 metres 80, and Adrian Hatcher ahead of the other New Zealander, Diggory Brooks. So for Lovegrove, that last throw taking him to the lead in the men's javelin.
Men's shot put, and Justin Anelzak, the World Junior silver medalist, round 6. He's 17.50. Needs to beat Clay Cross to grab the competition here. Cross is on 18.04, the first time he'd smashed that 18-metre barrier. Anelzak needs to improve. Needs 18.05.
17 metres, 26.
17.26, you can hear it in the background. That'll disappoint Justin Anelzak. He'll remain in second position. And there's the man in front at the moment. What a big day for him in front of his home crowd, the crowd he wants to compete in front of at the Sydney 2000 Olympics. And already a milestone for him today, breaking the 18-metre barrier, Clay Cross. The first school pupil to win an Open National title.
Oh, no!
And as you can probably tell, no big secret there. Not too happy with that throw, and in fact walked through the circle to record a foul, but he's in front. Good battle in the shot put between Clay Cross and Justin Anelzak. And Clay Cross, the man who has won again and passing that milestone, as I mentioned, of 18 metres for the first time. So Clay Cross has started the season on fire. 18.04, Justin Anelzak 17.50, and Goddard in third position 16.96.
So back to the track now. Here's the start list for the men's 110-metre hurdles. Fenella in 1, Watkins 2, Newton in 4. Edmiston goes from lane 5. Kyle Vanderkuyp, the Olympic finalist, World Championships finalist in 6. John Morrison 7, Martin Barrow in 8, and Temo in lane 9. And there he is, KVK, Kyle Vanderkuyp. Personal best of 13.29 seconds. 13.32 his best from last season. Bronze medalist at the World Junior Championships in 1990. Finalist in Atlanta.
Away this time, and Vanderkuyp again quite well in the centre. In fact, over the second flight, he clears out for them, Kyle Vanderkuyp. He goes to the fourth flight now, well cleared, 2 or 3 metres in front of the runner on his outside, Morrison. And Kyle Vanderkuyp is careering away for a big win. Second placing's tight. Edmiston has got there, I think, in front of Morrison, but it was all Kyle Vanderkuyp in 13.60.
He waves to the crowd. He'll be pretty happy with that. It was a good win. Good win. Getting those two words confused. A good start for him.
You're right on the win too, I think, David. It's just over the illegal limit, I think.
Yeah, plus 2.4. He had a windy run in Perth, but I think the wind conditions today here would be more suited for him. They tend to push you onto the hurdles, but he was well controlled today. Morrison smacked that one, allowing Edmiston to get through. Good battle for second and third, but no problems about picking the winner. Kyle Vanderkuyp very tight for second, perhaps Edmiston from Morrison as we go front on with Vanderkuyp.
He looks a bit bigger than I've seen him before. He may have been pumping some weights over the summer. He just seems to have bulked up a bit more, which is obviously important. We mentioned earlier about if you're going to knock a few hurdles, if you can clip them and be strong enough to get over them, you'll hold your rhythm.
Of course, Alan Johnson, the Olympic champion from Atlanta, just about smacked every hurdle over to win there. Vanderkuyp pretty clean, and I think Amanda DePetch will be pretty happy with that run.
Kyle Vanderkuyp, you've owned this event for half a decade. Looks like nothing's changed.
No, that was all right today. 13.60. I was hoping for a bit faster, but the headwind, the tailwind again, pushes you on top of the hurdles. It's hard to get going, but it's slowly chipping off each race.
What about your training leading up to the Optus Series? You know, has it been a little bit different this year? Are you going for a different tact?
I'm training a little bit harder. I wanted to get in some harder weights and get a bit stronger, so I've been pretty hard in the gym. That's what we're coming out of now, so it's a bit hard to get going after doing sort of heavy stuff before Christmas, and it's going to be a slow build-up. I'm aiming for Worlds later in the year, so it's a slow build-up to there.
And what about the conditions today? With the wind, you know, like any effect for you really at all?
With the hurdles, if it's a big tailwind, we actually get pushed on top of the hurdles, so it mucks your technique up a bit. So the wind gets in this track and sort of swirls, so it's a bit hard, but it was all right.
Kyle Vanderkuyp, congratulations, on fire at the Sydney Grand Prix.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, good run there for Kyle Vanderkuyp, well under the World Championships A standard, just outside the AA, which would get him virtually automatic selection, but I think he'll be in the team anyway, KVK. 13.59 today, Edmiston in second to 14.25, and John Morrison in third place, 14.28, as we go through the result there for the men's 110-metre hurdles, but Kyle Vanderkuyp, a clear winner from Paul Edmiston. Well, it was a good run there for Kyle Vanderkuyp. I'm sure he'll be fairly happy with that, and he's been a star of the show here in Australia for a couple of years. Terry Kennedy's got this profile on Australia's best high hurdler.
Kyle Vanderkuyp appears to have it all. The looks, the image, the speed, but most of all the talent. All of the above have made him one of the true shining lights of the Australian track and field scene. The high hurdles hold no fear for Kyle. In fact, he loves the event, the challenge.
It's very exciting to do, and it's very exciting to train for. I think that's what's kept me going. I love doing it.
Kyle's career peaked by making the Olympic final in Atlanta, a medal performance in itself.
Johnson clear, Vanderkuyp about 7th, Johnson well clear, Swift trying to come in with Greer, Johnson going hard, he's got no, just misses a world record.
Like many of his teammates, Vanderkuyp had a well-earned rest after the Games, but looked in good shape last week in Perth, chalking up another victory.
It's a good opening run, and it makes you have to work harder, so first race of the year, I'm happy with that.
He covered the hurdles in 13.65 seconds. Kyle knows he can improve on that, and to keep him sharp over the domestic season, two of the best in the high hurdle business will challenge the 25-year-old, Roger Kingdom and Jack Pearce.
Vanderkuyp is going for one and he's going to do it! He's beaten Jack Pearce!
Definitely making me focus. It's a bit of pressure, not what I expected this time of the year. I wanted to train right through the season, and I said to the coach, let me train hard now, but with these guys coming, we're going to have to soften up a bit and get ready. But that, I can only learn from running against them.
After the domestic season, Kyle Vanderkuyp will now focus on a World Championship gold medal in August.
Well, we look forward to seeing Kyle Vanderkuyp in action later in the season. Roger Kingdom and Jack Pearce, certainly plenty of opposition for Kyle Vanderkuyp. Now, here's a race I think a lot of people have been looking forward to. Certainly I have. Melinda Gainsford versus Lauren Hewitt and a couple of others in the women's 200 metres. A great field. Tanya Van Heer goes from the inside. Sharon Cripps, a relay runner with Hewitt and Lambert in Atlanta. Jodie Lambert's on her outside in 3. Then Lauren Hewitt, the World Junior Championship silver medalist over this distance here in Sydney. On her outside, the world indoor champion, the current world indoor champion, Melinda Gainsford in 5. Alona Ronaldo in lane 6. Rebecca Vormist has been an improved athlete this year. Olympian from 1992, Melissa Medlicott goes in lane 8. And Nicole Buchanan is in lane 9. But Mona, young versus old. There's Cripps. Lambert will focus in a moment there on Hewitt and Gainsford. How do you see this one?
Oh, Mel runs a very good bend into a bit of a headwind. I think her strength will show out, and she'll just hold Lauren off down the straight.
Just about set to go. Running into the centre, Gainsford away pretty well. She left Lauren Hewitt just as they go towards the 150 now. Gainsford running very quickly now as they come into the home straight. Hewitt down on the inside, over on the inside, Medlicott and Vormister. But into the straight, Melinda Gainsford in front. Lauren Hewitt goes to second on the outside of Jodie Lambert. Melinda Gainsford is tying up. Lauren Hewitt goes to her now. Lauren Hewitt goes past Melinda Gainsford, and Lauren Hewitt wins. Second home, I think, Jodie Lambert, and third, Melinda Gainsford in 22.83.
Well, that will be a massive personal best. We'll look for the win. Unfortunately, plus 4.4, but still, gee, Melinda Gainsford, she rocketed off the bend, but then she got very tired. Let's have a look at the start here. We'll focus on those two, Gainsford and Hewitt. And as we come back, have a look at the start that Melinda Gainsford got. Absolutely flew out of the blocks and opened up 2 or 3 metres on Lauren Hewitt.
She runs a great bend. Gee, you can see her. She's clearly broken away from Lauren there.
Well, all things going well for, unfortunately, Ronaldo breaking down as they come into the turn, but 3 or 4 metres clear Gainsford there. Vormister on her outside, then Hewitt and Lambert on the inside. But it's at this stage here that Lauren Hewitt senses that she's got a chance. She really does lift and goes straight by. So does Jodie Lambert. She gives Gainsford a run for her money. But as they come down to the line, it was all Lauren Hewitt. That's a tremendous victory. Lambert's in second. There's Vormister and Medlicott as we move back onto the inside. And still staying relaxed. And that's a massive scalp for this young girl. Still at school, will do the second year, and she's with Amanda de Pledge.
Lauren Hewitt, a terrific race. What is it like for someone to come up and beat Melinda Gainsford? Obviously, you know, you've been waiting to take her on for a long time now.
Yes, well, I mean, the last time I competed against her was when I was 16, I think. Now 18, a little bit more stronger, and I'm having a good season. So, I mean, Melinda's obviously sort of just coming through again, so she'll be out there later this year, but yeah, I'm really pleased.
What an incredible year it's been for you, a silver medal at the World Juniors, now this. What are your goals now for the rest of the year?
Well, I've qualified for World Indoors, hopefully I'll go to that in March, hopefully World Championships in August. I've still got to finish year 12 this year, fit it in somehow, but hopefully I'll be able to do it all.
You're having a great time, aren't you? You're very happy.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
Lauren Hewitt, well done.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, Lauren Hewitt, personal best there, fastest time ever. Unfortunately, wind assisted, but 22.82. Bit of a surprise there. Second and third, Jodie Lambert in second, 23.11. And Melinda Gainsford will be very disappointed with that run, I think. 23.16, a little bit of surprise as we go from those results to the men's 1,500 metres. As we take a look at the start list, big field here, a lot of internationals. Scotty Peterson will be the Australian to look at. As we have a look at the start list now, Glenn Ritchie, Richard Polkinghorne, Travis Longmuir. Hamish Christensen won the mile in Melbourne a couple of seasons ago. Scott Peterson, he wears the boxer shorts, can't miss him. Julian Marsh from Victoria, Nick Landbeck from Queensland. Then the Kenyan duo, Elijah Maru, he won in Perth. Martin Keno, the son of the legendary two-time Olympic gold medalist Kip Keno. Holman, Hood, as we go over the page, Graham Hood, the youngest finalist in the 1,500 metre final in Barcelona back in '92. Steve Catterick, Holt Hardy, Mark Gorski and David Rushina. 18 runners, and Mona, they'll have to be careful to make sure they don't get in too much trouble with this big field.
It is a big field, 1,500. They'll settle in pretty early, though. The internationals will make sure they normally like to be pretty solid in their early pace, so they'll sit in, and the local guys will run off that a bit. But what a great opportunity here to see a legend's son in action. Martin Keno, the son of the greatest Kenyan athlete of all time, Kip Keno, and I'm looking forward to watching Martin run tonight. And Elijah Maru, who's spent a couple of years out here, a couple of summers out here. He doesn't get beaten very often, I must admit. He had a great season last year over 1,500. He was down in the low 330s, and he'd be the one to beat tonight.
Well, there's Keno on the left of screen and Maru on the right as they go to the line in the men's 1,500.
So Martin Keno, the taller of the two Kenyans you just saw on screen, and in fact I think that's Keno dropping back towards the tail of the field in the early stages, and back there with him is Maru. Polkinghorne will go to the lead in the early stages. He's going to set the pace in the 1,500 metres as they leave the back straight astern. Running to second now is Holt Hardy, and he's in a clear second, and there's a little bit of pace on. The jostling back in the field, I'm just looking for Martin Keno now. I think you'll find that's him out 4 and 5 deep and circling the field. The other Kenyan, Elijah Maru, is back in the centre, and now Martin Keno is going very quickly after being back towards the tail into 5th position as they come down the straight with 3 laps to go.
It's not hard to see Scotty Peterson. He's the Christmas tree there in 3rd position. He'll be right tonight. He doesn't have to get changed when he goes home. It's a strong field here of locals as well. Look out for Steve Holman and Graham Hood, the other two internationals. The pace there, they seem to have slowed up a bit. You can see they went out hard early, but the field's packed up a little bit. It's tough conditions out there tonight. It'll become a bit tactical, I would think.
So that's Richard Polkinghorne in front by a couple of metres. In second placing, I think it's still Holt Hardy, and then the Australian Scott Peterson is holding down 3rd. Now, Martin Keno is running in 5th position now, and there's a break of about 6 or 7 metres back behind him to the other Kenyan, Elijah Maru. Now let's have a look for the American Steve Holman. He's running in those green colours, and he's back beyond centre field, I think you'll find. Yes, just back behind the two Kenyans now, and starting to improve the black American up around the outside. They come down the straight now, where they'll have the 2-lap mark coming up. It's Polkinghorne still in front. He leads the way from second, Holt Hardy. In third position now over on the outside, in fact, is Hood. And moving around the outside, Scott Peterson now. The challengers coming from back in the field. Hamish Christensen, the New Zealander, is there as well. And now Martin Keno just got shuffled back a little bit there, and a runner behind him, I think, went onto his heels as Maru goes up around the outside, and just in behind them was Holman.
Well, the internationals are pretty well placed here as Polkinghorn still leads the way from Hardy and Peterson, but Graham Hood, he's keen to had a disappointing time in Atlanta. The two Kenyans are very well placed there. Maru running a more sensible race here than he did in Perth. He led by nearly 20 or 30 metres as they came into the straight. Peterson just about ran him down. There's Holman on his outside in the green and white. Gee, it was a tragedy in the US Olympic trials for Holman. He went in as the reddest of red-hot favourites and failed to make the team. Polkinghorn finishes his duties as the pacemaker, Mono.
And Holman is very fast, so we're certain that this is off a slowish pace. They're probably just over what was the 4-minute mile at low 3:40, so I think you'll be looking out for Holman and Maru. Certainly Kip Kino's son Martin off the 800 background that he has, so we're in for a great battle here.
And they're about to get the bell, and it's Hardy in front from Peterson, and the first of the two Kenyans is Keno. He's running in fourth position now with on his shoulder the outside Elijah Maru and Holman just in behind them. Well, this is developing into a great race as they go down the back towards the 300 metres. Holt Hardy in front by a couple of metres on Hamish Christensen running second, and then back behind them in turn came the Kenyan getting up on the inside now, and that was Keno in front of Maru, who's trekking him along. In fact, Maru's got in front of Keno now, and this is going to develop into a real sprint home. Holman got chopped out there and tried to go around to the outside.
Well, Peterson set sail for home from a long way out, but look at his kick finish. He really is in great form, Scotty Peterson. You'd want to be when you're wearing boxer shorts like that. Can he hang on? Hood and Maru in second and third.
Yes, and the other Kenyan is dropping out of it, but into the straight they go, and Scott Peterson is in front. On the outside, Hood is coming to him now. Hood goes to Peterson. Hood's got the kick, and Hood's going to win by 1.5 metres on the line from Peterson. Holman's got third in front of Maru, Keno, and then behind them in turn, Hamish Christensen. But all honours with the winner, Graham Hood.
But the run there, Scotty Peterson, he might have just ducked under 340 there. That's a phenomenal run. He's just outside the qualifying for the World Championships. He's really come on in leaps and bounds this year. He's been competitive with Maru, and he's shown it tonight. He certainly went for it early, and that's a very fast time. I'll be looking with interest at the time there for Scotty Peterson.
And all credit to him too. The 23-year-old from Victoria has funded his own way around most of the Grand Prix circuit for the last couple of years. And this is the payback time now for Scott Peterson. But Graham Hood has been with the Kenyans, and also Steve Holman with Kim McDonald's training squad, Sonia O'Sullivan, who we'll see later as a member of that squad training in Melbourne. And plenty of background there coming through. A class athlete, and he just gets there in the line. It was a great race.
Just looking at Martin Keno, he seemed, I know he's relatively inexperienced, he seemed to just get shuffled back, and his countrymen went up on his outside, Maru, and all of a sudden he started to panic a little bit, and that's where the experience of Hood, who was a finalist in '92, came to the fore. He didn't panic, he just waited and then kicked.
So important to realise that we saw the front runner just dropping back, and they got caught behind them there and couldn't get out, and once you lose that momentum, that's it.
Here he is with Amanda to pledge.
Graham Hood, congratulations, a terrific race. Tell me, what were your tactics in that race?
You know, we're just starting to get racing, so we kind of, I personally went into it without much of a plan, and that almost backfired. I think the guy that ended up getting second made a great strong move, and he almost got too far away from us to catch him.
So you learn from things like that, don't you? Next time you'll go out with a bit of a different
approach.
approach.
I think next time hopefully we'll run a bit faster, go after a good fast time. That'd be nice.
Well, congratulations, you still managed to wrap it up. Well done.
Thanks very much.
From the track to the field, and Nova Peris, the young Australian of the year. What a busy day for this young lady. She's competed in the heats and the 100 metres, and now in action in the long jump.
Well, it's the first time we've had a look at Nova Peris in the long jump, and looked good on the runway.
Is there nothing she can do?
Well, hockey, 100 metres, good run-up. Well, certainly not the technique of, say, Nicole Bogman, but you wouldn't expect that from Nova Peris. 5:01, she's currently in fourth place.
To the men's javelin, and this the women's javelin. at the moment.
Joanna Stone.
The Queensland policewoman doing battle with Louise McPaul. Stone winds up. Good early throw for Joanna Stone over the 50-metre mark.
Perhaps, sorry Terry, perhaps just got that one under the breeze. I was watching it through the flight. We didn't really pick it up on the camera, but the breeze just getting over the top of that one, pushing it down. As we mentioned before, the girls like to throw into the wind, and if they can get the javelin, as we saw with Louise McPaul in Atlanta, if the wind can pick up that javelin, can really make it fly, and that's what they hope to do here. Angle of release is the key.
We'll check that result from Joanna Stone. More action on the track.
So from the women's javelin, we go to the men's 400 metres. The Carl Lewis countdown is ticking. A little under 10 minutes until we see the king. But the men's 400 metres, Mark Morisi in 1, Robert Hanna 2, the Olympian Mark Ladbroke in lane 3, Anthony Ryan in 4, Cameron McKenzie, also an Atlanta Olympian in 5, Casey Vincent, just the junior from Victoria, in lane 6, Robert Medlicott 7, Callum Taylor from New Zealand, based in New South Wales in lane 8, and Lewis Rangot is in lane 9. So a big field here in the men's 400 metres. There's Mark Ladbroke, number 245. Personal best of 45.70, but unfortunately for the Victorian, he's not in that sort of shape at the moment, but in previous seasons he's turned it around pretty quickly. There's his good friend and training partner Cameron McKenzie, the Victorian, both those guys, Ladbroke and McKenzie, in the relay team in Atlanta. McKenzie, 27 years of age.
Probably the surprise pick of the Olympic Games, I would say. Probably the one that most people weren't familiar with and didn't know about, but acquitted himself well, and certainly will have used that experience. Hopefully it'll come to fruition tonight.
Well, here's a young man who's out for some experience. My tip here, actually, between McKenzie and this young man, Casey Vincent. He's run well in the previous Grand Prix. Brad Jamison's been the young star so far. He's not in this field. Jamison winning in both Canberra and in Perth. But Vincent was 4th in Canberra and then 2nd in Perth as they go down to the blocks.
Introductions have taken place. Men's 400. Cameron McKenzie 5. Casey Vincent 6. Favourite in front of Ladbroke. Crowd officially 12,000. Away they go from the outside, Rangot, Taylor, Medlicott, and going quickly was McKenzie on the inside of Vincent. They break away from Ryan Ladbroke. Over on the inside, Hannah Morisi as they go down the back of the 250.
We just saw Callum Taylor go to the shot there. There's Robert Medlicott, but Casey Vincent, McKenzie and Ryan and Ladbroke, they're all there as they go through 200 metres, but Casey Vincent looks the most composed at the moment.
McKenzie's moving up on his inside, and so too is Anthony Ryan, and running very quickly was Callum Taylor, the Kiwi, on the outside. Now McKenzie looks strongest as they come off the turn into the straight. Ryan goes up on his inside. On the outside, Vincent and the Kiwi. Callum Taylor still there as well. McKenzie, Ryan together. On the outside, Taylor. McKenzie's finishing the better. Coming again, Casey Vincent. McKenzie's in front. Quinella to Colbert, because Vincent's got 2nd, just in front of Callum Taylor 3rd.
Here's Sinks Road Box, Quinella, and I'll take it. Although I did pick Casey Vincent to take it out. He gave him a lot of ground. Callum Taylor on the outside, using his sprint form to good advantage. He ran a great 300. So did Andrew Ryan, known as Frankie in the business. Andrew McKenzie trying to stay relaxed. Mark Ladbroke will be disappointed again with his form. Keep your eye on Casey Vincent between the outside Taylor and also McKenzie. Comes flying through. Taylor does well to keep his form under control. Gets tough for these 400-metre runners. But a good win there for Cameron McKenzie, 46.68 the unofficial time. Ryan ran a good race, so I was stretched across the track. McKenzie trying desperately to stay relaxed, keep the arms pumping, keep everything loose, but gee boy, it's hard when you run 400 metres at breakneck speed. Tight for 2nd between Taylor and Vincent, but I think Vincent might get there. Good run from the New Zealander. I'm sure he'll be delighted with that. 46.55, his personal best. Did a PB here last year, so the Sydney Grand Prix is a good hunting ground. And here's Cameron McKenzie.
Cameron, congratulations. Obviously very satisfying to win, but on a personal level, were you happy with that performance?
Very tough into the wind down the back straight. Very tough, but it was a tactical race, and I just ran it the right way. So yeah, I'm very happy.
A lot of pressure there, obviously. It was a pretty sort of equal field, pretty much. So obviously, there's always going to be a lot of pressure because there's a lot of talent there.
Oh, very tight, very tight. At the finish, finishing off is not my strong point, so to actually do that was good. It was nice.
Well, congratulations on that great win today, and
Thanks
best of luck for the rest of the season.
Good on you. Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, well done, Cameron McKenzie. 46.67. Casey Vincent taking out second place here, 46.78, just ahead of Callum Taylor, Anthony Ryan, Robert Hanna, and Mark Ladbrook, still struggling for form, back in 7th place, 47.34 for the Victorian Olympians. So, good run there for Cameron McKenzie. He'll be pleased with that as we leave the track for a moment.
And to the long jump. And another one of our New Zealand visitors, Chantel Brunner. In good form at the moment. She leads the competition.
Olympic finalist in Atlanta, Chantel Brunner, has had a couple of great battles to be the best in Oceania with Nicole Boagman, who's missing today with an ankle injury. Good form on the runway for Brunner. Perhaps just dropping the head back a little bit on takeoff, but she's probably the best of the women's jumpers here. So she, after a foul in round 1, she'll be relieved with that. 6.39 puts her in the lead.
Now, Louise McPaul, Olympic silver medalist, and has not got off to a good start. She's only in 7th position at the moment. McPaul winds up, and you can tell by the face and the walk through the line, not happy with her second round throw. So Louise McPaul just struggling a little bit at the moment in this competition. Of course, it was a magic moment for Australia when she won that Olympic silver medal. And she'd like to repeat the dose, but at the moment, struggling to find that form that carried her into 2nd place.
Well, she's been spending most of her time at the police academy down in Goulburn, where she's training to be a policewoman. So let's go to the track. Live action here, and this is what most of the 12,000 people in the stadium have come to see. The men's 100-metre final. Donaldson, the New Zealander, in 1. Whitnish in lane 2. In fact, they're the finalists there. I can give you the lane draw now. Dean Capobianco, in fact, will be in 1. Baxter will be in 2. Henderson 3. Brimmican 4. Carl Lewis will be in 5. Patrick Stevens in 6. Patrick Johnson in 7. There it is now. Chris Donaldson in 8 and Ryan Whitnish in 9, but all eyes will be on Carl Lewis, and there's certainly an air of anticipation here in the stadium. And Steve, he was disappointing in New Zealand. He finished 7th, ran about 10.70. There's the great man there, 9-time Olympic gold medalist, twice world record holder over this distance, been involved in all the most famous runs.
The greatest athlete of our time. You've got to admit, in my era, there's been no greater than Carl Lewis, and he's here in Australia. And I'm sure that 11,963 people have come to see him run tonight.
Look at
Let's
that
hope he
personal
puts
best.
on a show.
Yeah, 9.86, the personal best.
What's he do? He's got to lift himself a bit after New Zealand. We saw the run there wasn't all that, wasn't the Carl Lewis we know, but he is a great big-time performer, and I'm sure he'll acquit himself a lot better here tonight. He's got some great, this is a terrific event. We're very even across the heat, so he won't have it on his own, that's for sure. You can guarantee this will be a very close and exciting race, and let's hope that Carl's up there with them.
Gentlemen, just about this young fellow, Patrick Johnson. I mean, 6 months ago, to suggest to him that he would have been running in a major race at a GP track meet against Carl Lewis is quite incredible. And here he is this evening against King Carl, Patrick Johnson.
Yeah, well, he certainly couldn't believe it himself. In fact, this time last year he was playing touch rugby, as we see Paul Henderson and Steve Brimmican. Brimmer just missing out on the Olympic final. In fact, Patrick Stevens, who we'll see a little bit later. As Carl shakes hands with Brimmer, that'll be a big thrill for you, Steve Brimmican, whenever the great man shakes your hand. But Patrick Johnson, as we look at Lewis, look at that number. It's a gold number 9. He's the only one in this field certainly wearing a gold number, signifying the 9 Olympic gold medals that the great man has won. There's Patrick Stevens. We talked about Brimacombe and Stevens. They've got a bit of a rivalry. It was this man, the Belgian, that took Brimmer's place in the 200-metre final in Atlanta. Brimmer finishing 9th. And there's Johnson. 10.67 is his best time legally. Ran 10.27 in Perth, ran 10.31 during the week in Canberra. Spent the first 16 years of his life on a boat. Used to dive off to go to school. There's Donaldson, the New Zealander. Great thrill for all of these people. Good opportunity here. Make yourself famous, fellas. Beat the king. Ryan Whitnish ran well in New Zealand. But just getting back to Patrick Johnson, he this time last year he was playing touch rugby. He rejected some offers for Super League. They wanted him to play at either the Cowboys up in Queensland or the Raiders. They didn't matter which. He decided that he wanted to stay with track and field. They offered him a scholarship at the AIS in Canberra, which he accepted. As we welcome Melinda Gainsford-Taylor to the microphone. Welcome, Mel. You've had a bit of a warm down. How are you feeling?
Hi, Dave. Not too bad. A bit disappointed with the run, but hey, got to start somewhere.
Okay, we'll come back and talk to Melinda about this race and her race in detail in a moment, but they're about to be called to the blocks now for the feature event, men's 100 metres, featuring King Carl Lewis. Steve Brimacombe being introduced now, and as David's already indicated to you, a thrill of a lifetime for him, with Carl Lewis offering his hand prior to the start of this race.
Well, Brimmer's been in this sort of situation before, so he won't be phased. So we just pause to hear the reaction for the king. Quiet, please. No, Carl, you're the star of the show and people can clap for as long as they like. It must be a great thrill for him on a farewell tour of the world. Patrick Stevens, Olympic finalist in the 200 metres in Atlanta. One of the favourites going in here, ran a great heat earlier in the day. And Melinda, what's going through these athletes' minds? Patrick Johnson, you saw him in Perth during last week. Fantastic talent.
He's a great talent. I remember him saying that coming up to this race that he was hoping to get through the heats and to get in the final. And here he is today, and it's great to be in his position because he's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And first major race, and he's against Carl Lewis.
Great atmosphere here in Sydney. 12,000 spectators come to watch this man here with the gold number 9. Quiet now. 9 Olympic gold medals for Carl Lewis.
Being called to the blocks, the 100 metres. Capobianco, Baxter, Henderson, Brimacombe, Lewis. Patrick Stevens from Belgium. Patrick Johnson, Australia. Donaldson, New Zealand. Whitnish, Australia. An air of expectation here at the Homebush Stadium. Away they go. Lewis away only fairly. Baxter got away well. So did Capobianco, and Johnson through the centre. And on the outside, Whitnish is going quickly. And now Brimacombe and Henderson. Brimacombe streaming to the lead. Brimacombe wins. It's tight for second and third. Brimacombe first. I think Donaldson second, just in front of either Whitnish, Stevens and Carl Lewis just in behind them. But all honours with Steve Brimacombe.
Great run for Brimacombe. A little bit slower than the heat this morning. He ran 10.27 to win that heat. 10.43 there. Carl Lewis certainly ran a much improved race from what we saw in New Zealand. And this is what he said he came to Australia to do. To slap fires with the fans. He goes immediately to the fence. There's a bit of a media scrum. This poor man, Steve Brimacombe's been forgotten. He shouldn't be. Because it was a great run from Steve Brimacombe, the Queenslander. He raced against Lewis in Perth. In New Zealand, I should say, last Friday. But it was an improved run for Lewis, Melinda. He looked pretty shoddy in New Zealand, but there was a much better run there tonight.
He was. He was actually up there for the first 50 with the guys, but then they sort of pulled away from him. But well done to Steve. I mean, he didn't run too well in Canberra, if I remember correctly, so his few races has been agreeing with him.
Well, it was a good run also from Ryan Whitnish as we go to the replay. He's on our outside. He got a great start. So did Patrick Johnson. The start was the worry for him. He's in the red, 3 from the left. Lewis is with them at this stage. Henderson on Brimacombe's inside. He's up there at this stage too, but this is the strong part of Brimacombe's race. The 200-metre speed coming through. He really does lift in the final 20 metres. He goes to the line here. There's not much in it, but a clear victory for Brimacombe. Whitnish and Donaldson, there's not much between those two. And let's have a look now. Patrick Stevens was perhaps a little bit disappointing, but pretty even after 20 metres. And Lewis, the trademark finishing speed of the King, not quite there.
When Brimacombe went, it was Henderson who went with him, and then on the outside, Donaldson and Whitnish. Now, they've hit the line locked together. You can see Lewis finishing in about 6th position, and Johnson has finished probably 5th, just behind Patrick Stevens. So a big effort by the youngster in his first big race, and I think that Donaldson will get second, looking at that replay, just in front of Ryan Whitnish, but the winner is Steve Brimacombe.
Here's the King in isolation. Well, the time may not be as fast, but the style remains the same. He's been likened to Muhammad Ali, smooth as silk. There's not a better technician in world sprinting than this man. 9:86, the personal best time. Steve Brimacombe just on his outside. A great run from him, but great to see Carl Lewis finally run here. He'll be a little bit disappointed with that placing, but I'm sure the man who won the race won't be disappointed. He's with Amanda to pledge. Steve Brimacombe, a fantastic run, and all honours to you.
Yeah, Steve, all honest to you. Of course, at the moment, you're being a little bit upstaged, but I guess you can understand that. You've got a big smile on your face anyway. You don't mind, do you?
No, I don't mind at all.
That must have been pretty satisfying, a great
run.
run.
Go and do a lap of honour with him, but I don't think I will. What's the point? No, it's really good to race him, you know. Obviously, he's one of the greatest athletes that's ever run. And it's in his last year. I know he's not in the best form, but it's still good to be able to be involved in something as good as that.
Particularly, and what about, I mean, a huge crowd here tonight. It's so good to see in Sydney a crowd like this come to watch the world's best or Australia's world-class athletes in action. Does that really lift you? Do you feel that, the anticipation of the crowd?
Absolutely. I mean, that really makes it, you know. I was saying in Canberra the other week, there was a fair crowd there, but it just felt like an inter-club meet, you know. But this is sort of up there ranking with the you know, the meets in Europe, and it's really exciting. You get this sort of thing happening all the time, and the performances are going to lift.
Steve Brimacombe, a terrific win.
Thank you very much.
Well, Melinda Gainsford-Taylor, you were down there a little bit earlier. Does it feel like those big meets in Europe? You've been to all the big ones. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great, Dave. Actually, when I turned out tonight, I was very surprised to see the crowd, and it's great to have them here. And you know, it's pretty hard for me tonight because it's been 2 years competing and domestically, and you know, to come out and have a crowd and people cheering your name, I'm not quite used to that, especially after being in Europe, but it's fantastic out there.
Have a look at these scenes. It's like a scene at the Sydney Football Stadium or the MCG in Melbourne with the victors. In fact, although Lewis not the victor here, but certainly the hero for the people here in Homebush tonight. And won't they take away a memory? They can say to their children that they've seen and touched the King.
He doesn't have to do this. This is quite remarkable that he would take the time. It's all right to run around the perimeter of the track. I know he's probably finished 6th or 7th, but to actually stop and exchange handshakes and pleasantries with the younger members of the crowd and some older members as well, it's a mark of what is a great man and a great athlete. He certainly is affording the Australians much more time than perhaps he's entitled to, and that's wonderful.
Well, he said that, as we look at the result, he said that he wanted to do that. It was part of his farewell tour. And there he is in 7th place, tying with Dean Capobianco. But Brimacombe, the winner, 10:37. Well, 10:43 was on the clock, so we'll be happy with 10:37. Whitnish and Donaldson, they couldn't split them in second. Paul Henderson, Patrick Stevens, 10:51. Patrick Johnson, I think, shouldn't be too disappointed with that run, 10:52. Carl Lewis, 10:56. So an improvement on what he did in New Zealand last Friday night. Not 9:86, but still a good run. Capobianco and David Baxter will be back after the break from the Optus Grand Prix here in Sydney.
In 1997, February poses some nasty questions. Can the Aussies hold against the Windies Challenge? Will the Tiger claim an Australian Masters? Is the Davis Cup returning to our shores? If you want all the answers, turn to Sports Australia, Channel 12. Out on the pitch, the Test Series is hotting up.
Bowling, beautiful delivery.
There's the explosive Mercantile Mutual Cup and the toughest domestic comp in the world, the Sheffield Shield.
Oh, great catch, Ian Healy.
For grass court fans, the Davis Cup begins with a scorcher when France takes on Australia.
For the Scout leads by 2 sets to love.
Our golf coverage swings into action with the world's best in the Australian Masters, and all eyes upon the Tiger.
This could be it.
If that's not enough, there's the Australian skins in a pressure-packed shootout, while off the course, the St George Triathlon turns up the heat.
Congratulations.
The Series 500 finalists getting revved up, while athletics, cycling, and the superstars of wrestling keep up the pace.
Welcome to your backyard.
The good news is, League is back with the sensational Coca-Cola World Sevens. And for soccer fans, we got the best of the best with exclusive pay TV coverage of the English Premier League, along with the Ericsson Cup. February is looking good with a lot of sport on offer, but there's only one place you can see it all: Sports Australia Channel 12.
Well, welcome back. Great scenes here at the moment with Carl Lewis. Someone's just given him a necklace on the back straight where he's slapping high fives. There he is there. I think he's given his gold number 9 to that person. And Melinda, you were saying just before that amazing crowd here, and what effect did it have on you during that 200 metres?
I think Dave would actually have it. I was so excited and fired up that I actually went a little bit too hard that first 100 and had nothing left. But you know, it's great to be out here in the crowd, and it's great to be running in front of your home crowd once again after 2 years.
Crowd of just under 12,000, perhaps the biggest we've seen in Sydney for this sort of meet, a Grand Prix meet. But the people screaming your name, and maybe that was just the reason that in that last 50 it looked like 500 metres instead of 50 metres.
Oh, I can tell you what, it did. But yeah, I had people going, Melinda, 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 which is really sweet, you know, to have the support out there, but it's trying to cope with it again.
There's some fantastic scenes here. Carl just went past a young child who had the biggest smile on her face. And these people, I know that certainly my dad tells me what it was like to see the great Don Bradman. I know in America they talk about Babe Ruth or being at a Muhammad Ali fight. And for these people here in Sydney today, they'll be able to tell their kids and their grandkids that they saw the greatest athlete of all time, Carl Lewis, compete. His record will only grow in stature.
I think it's important that we keep paying tribute to him, because the bulk of the people, of course, have come to see Carl Lewis, but also see Kathy Freeman and Melinda Gainsford and other great athletes here, but he's certainly giving them their money's worth. Now, before we go any further, we've got the start list for the women's 400 coming up right now.
It was Kathy Freeman.
In fact, they're racing right now, and Kathy Freeman racing in lane number 4 is away to a fairly good start from the outside in. Let's have a look at them. King, Andrews, Menzies, Hayward, Freeman in 4, Vormester and Coots. So no mucking about here. The people who were shaking Carl Lewis's hands like I was congratulating him have perhaps missed the start. They're about to go to the 200, and Kathy Freeman running a very controlled race. She looks to have the runners on her outside covered. They include Andrews, Menzies, Hayward, and then Susan Andrews, of course, as opposed to Chelsea Andrews. And here's Kathy Freeman running a very, very good bend. She's about to come into the straight. Kathy Freeman, listen to the crowd. They'll tell you the story. She bears number 264. Kathy Freeman has a very big lead down the straight. She ran it magnificently the first 200, and she brings it home. And the crowd, straight after seeing Carl Lewis, of course, not win the 100, but perform well, applaud Kathy Freeman. She comes down to win quite well. Second home is Susan Andrews, and third on the outside, I think, was Amber Menzies. And Kathy Freeman's time is 52.28.
Yeah, well, it's not the 48.6 that we saw at the Olympics, but we didn't expect that from Kathy Freeman. And to be honest, it doesn't matter what time she ran. It's her first 400 of the season. I know she was very nervous before the race, Melinda. She's still got the trademark flowing technique, isn't it? Just beautiful to watch.
It is, Dave, and she looked very easy that whole race. And as you said, it is the first race of the season. She had such a big year last year, and it's probably hard getting back from the Atlanta Blues, but just to get that race out today, I'm sure she'd be happy to do.
Great experience for Rosemary Hayward in third place, their World Junior Championships bronze medalist. As Freeman comes down to the line, Hayward was at the press conference yesterday looking in awe at Kathy Freeman and Carl Lewis. Today she steps on the track against Kathy Freeman just after Carl. She'll never forget that. Good run for Freeman. Susan Andrews an improved run in second, and very relaxed as she comes down the straight, Kathy Freeman. New hairstyle in 1997. Just takes a bit of a sigh A deep breath. The line's not too far away, Kathy. Just a little bit of a grimace there. It does hurt. That'll remind her what it's like to run super quick. She'll look forward to better things later in the season for Kathy Freeman as she takes a little bit of a breather. And a bit of a smile for the cameras too. And why not, Catherine, Olympic silver medalist in Atlanta, sharing centre stage today here in Sydney with Carl Lewis. A little bit like Atlanta, Ray.
Exactly. Perhaps not as big a crowd, but certainly a good-sized crowd. And Kathy Freeman, everyone was like us, captivated by Carl Lewis, and the ground announcer didn't make us terribly aware that Kathy Freeman was about to go on the 400, but people's attention was soon diverted away from Carl Lewis. He was high-fiving a stack of people 1 minute, and the next minute they'd basically changed their focus to Kathy Freeman as she went down the back straight and thundered home in a time, I think officially 52.28. That's not official quite yet. Second, Susan Andrews, 52.27. Amanda, it's on your screens right now. Kathy Freeman, 52.27. I think I said Menzies third, but of course it was Rosemary Hayward third in 53.85 in front of Menzies. Susan Andrews second. In the meantime, I think there's more happening on the field. Terry Kennedy, what can you tell us?
Long jump competition now starting to warm up. Kylie Reid from WA on the runway. Round 2 jump. She's in 4th place at the moment. 6:39 is the one to beat. That looks to be around the 6:40 mark. She could well grab the lead with this jump. Kylie Reid from WA, she looked back at the mark, relatively happy. Good form on the runway. Good extension. 2:40. She has to beat that. 2:41. Well, not too far past it, but that's enough to give her first place at the moment.
As we go back to the 800 metres, the women's 800 metres now. Grand Prix points up for grabs here. Crowd still in a frenzy after Kathy Freeman and Carl Lewis, so a job for these girls to keep their mind on the job. But have a look at the girl in lane 5. She won't have any problems. She's been there and climbed the mountain. Sonia O'Sullivan, world champion, athlete of the year in 1995. Better suited over 1,500 metres and 5,000 metres, but personal best of a tick over 2 minutes. Other athletes to watch here, Sandra Dawson. There's O'Sullivan, Dawson on her outside in the Queensland colours, number 255. But a fantastic athlete, Sonia O'Sullivan, suffered a devastating illness in Atlanta. Great to see her smiling. She knows she's back in form, and a great 5,000 metres in Canberra, but back to the shorter distance here. Hopes to break 2 minutes. It'll be a great effort if she can. There's Nicole Webster, number 256. Lynn St John from Tasmania on her outside. But all eyes here will be on Sonia O'Sullivan. Personal best here of 2 minutes and .69, so just outside the 2 minute mark for the 27-year-old from Dublin.
Away they go in the 800 metres, the Grand Prix event for women. Sonia O'Sullivan, the finisher of all eyes, is going to settle down towards the tail of the field. Yvette Cordy, who ran in a hurdle event earlier this afternoon, is leading the way, although coming off the stagger on the outside, Megan Chisholm and also Selena Roberts are going quickly. Let's have a look for Sonia. She settles down in about 3rd or 4th last position now at the tail of the field. Incidentally, King Carl has another present to take home to the USA with him, and a Kubra hat I noticed he's got on the crown of his head. Let's have a look at the field now as they go to the top corner. I think you'll find Yvette Cordy is the leader.
Yeah, Yvette Cordy doing the pacemaking here. She ran the 400-metre hurdles earlier in the night, but an expert pacemaker. Lynn St John from Tasmania just on her outside. From the Queenslander, Selena Roberts. Sonia O'Sullivan fairly well back at the moment. You'd expect that. She doesn't have the pace of some of these other girls, being 5,000 and 1,500 metre specialist, but we'll look for her as they get down the back straight.
And they're about to get the bell now, and it's Cordy in front, running second at her shoulder, Lynn St John from Tasmania. Then the Queenslander is running third. I'm looking for Sonia O'Sullivan. She's starting to move up to about 7th or 8th position now as they set sail for the top corner, and Yvette Cordy has dropped out after setting the pace. Now running into second place, or Lynn St John will lead now. Running into second was on the outside Selena Roberts. Sonia O'Sullivan is starting to move around the outside comfortably now into 4th or 5th, the world champion, and she's being tagged along by yet another Queenslander. I think you'll find it is Sandra Dawson as they go down the back. It's Sonia O'Sullivan just about got them covered at the 200-metre mark. The Irish runner moves up and goes to the lead now, Sonia O'Sullivan. The others try to go with her, most notably the Queenslander Sandra Dawson, and I think Selena Roberts might have a kick as well. But into the straight they're about to thunder now, and the Irish girl is in front. Can she win it? She leads the way. The challenge is coming in after her now. Round the outside, improving pretty quickly now was Melanie Collins. Melanie Collins comes out after Sonia O'Sullivan. The Queenslander still there in the centre as well. They're getting close to home. Kicking back in the centre. Sonia O'Sullivan fights back in company with Selena Roberts. Sonia O'Sullivan just kicked and won. She's won from Selena Roberts. I think the other Queenslander, Sandra Dawson, has got third in front of Melanie Collins. But that was sheer guts and determination, if you'll pardon the French.
Well, absolutely. She's saying, why did I do it to myself? Well, she's got a heart as big as herself, Sonia O'Sullivan. She's shown that time and time again over 1,500 metres and 5,000 metres. But as try as she might, the young Queenslander Selena Roberts couldn't get through on the outside. And Sonia O'Sullivan says, well, I've never done it tougher than that. Monas, you've rejoined us.
I'm back, and didn't I say earlier those 800s are tough, and I think Sonia's agreeing with me right at the moment. For a distance runner to come back to 800, that's a great effort.
Well, great run there for Sonia O'Sullivan. Joining Amanda DePledge in the Akubra that Ray Hadley talked about is the great man Carl Lewis.
Carl Lewis, I love the hat. It's good to see you're going to take back a bit of Australia with you when you do go home.
Well, even without the hat, I tell you, I was taking a little bit of the nice people. I tell you, I've been here 3 times now. This is the first time and only time I was able to compete, and it was so exciting. This year for me is going to be a big thrill. It started off with a bang, 2 big crowds, 2 excited groups of people, and I'm thrilled and I'm very thankful to everyone, not only in Sydney, but in Australia. And I can guarantee it, the people are like this is going to be one of the best games ever.
A lot of people might walk away from an athletics career. You've achieved so much. Everyone is in awe of your greatness, but obviously it means a lot to you to really go out and say goodbye to the world in the right way, your way.
I tell you, exactly right. And in 1995 at the National Championships, I didn't have a good meet, and I told myself that I was going to earn the right to go out on my terms. And winning last year gave me that right, and now I can do it the way I want to, interacting with the fans, having fun with the meets, and going to a place I haven't been before. So it's been a big thrill.
What challenges are ahead for you now? What do you want to achieve now?
Well, athletically, make it through the season, visit all the places, like I said, enjoy myself, leave the sport with a high spirit. That's a big goal of mine, to leave it after days like today. I can leave it with a spirit saying this is the best thing I could have ever done this career. And that's really the main goal for me this year, have fun, but to leave it knowing that I gave everything I had and everyone is giving back, and I was able to accept that.
Carl Lewis, there are so many great highlights in your career, but please, if you can try and explain which one or which highlight would be the best for you.
Well, for me, it was in Atlanta athletically. I mean, winning that last gold medal with the world staring on and cheering me on made a big difference. I mean, when you're in a stadium like that with 80,000 people that you feel like your friends, it's a huge difference. And I guess through all of that, the moment that I remember the most was right after the end of the long jump. I saw my sister there crying on the field, and that was tremendous.
Now, Carl Lewis, standing next to you is one of our all-time favourites, Kathy Freeman. Lovely to see you.
Thanks. Oh, thanks.
Great to see you back in Australia. Now, isn't this great? Have you ever been to anything like this in Sydney where the crowd is so alive?
I don't think you realise what you've done today, but I mean, obviously it's a great, huge benefit having King Carl here. But yeah, I mean, to see the supporters come out today and support not only big stars but us, our local athletes, it's tremendous.
Well, terrific from both of you. Thank you so much. It's been so wonderful to see you both in action here today. Carl Lewis and Kathy Freeman, congratulations, and thanks very much for today.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Good job.
Well done, Amanda DePledge. Fantastic interview there with Carl Lewis and Kathy Freeman as we go to the footballers' final. Patton, Spolaric, Werrett, Forrest, Milford, Grant, Roberts, Orchard and Rhymes. And from what we saw in the heats, Ray Hadley, Spolaric, Werrett and perhaps Milford the favourites.
I think Werrett will win by a decisive margin. Kathy Freeman will be the only person in Australia, perhaps in the world, capable of not upsetting Carl Lewis by having a whiff under his Warwick farm and suggesting that he needed some Rexona, one of our sponsors' products, I believe. Perhaps he'd take offence in other cases, but not from the effervescent, smiling Kathy Freeman, who does it so charmingly. Now, Werrett's in 360 metres. Away they go. Werrett began best. Please win, because I don't know too many of the others runners. Yes, Werrett is coming away to win quite well. The young boy from South Sydney, I think it's Bushby, gets up the run second, but Werrett wins the 60-metre sprint quite easily in the end from Bushby. And Milford And last year's winner, unfortunately, have finished back with the cap catches, but Shane Werrett just too good in the 60-metre footballer sprint.
Yeah, far too good there, Werrett. Milford was a little bit disappointing. Perhaps he left his best form in the heat. Bushby from the Rabbitohs. I think they're still called the Rabbitohs. I'm from Melbourne.
Rabbitohs indeed they are. Many things have changed in rugby league, but not the name of South Sydney, David.
But there's Werrett. And I'm sure he'll be delighted with that win. And he can say that he ran on the day that Carl Lewis stepped foot here in Sydney. We've said it once, I guess we'll say it all day, but it's been Carl Lewis's show here. But Shane Werrett will be happy to share the limelight. In fact, I'm sure he'll be happy for Carl Lewis to take all the limelight. He's got plenty of pace, Werrett, I can see, while they love him on the wing at Parramatta. An open paddock could see him over the try line without too many problems. And as the crush continues here in Sydney, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more action in just a moment.
Way to do it is take the body out and the head's gonna fall. You gotta rip. You gotta dig.
Hey, man, where you going?
Oh, mate, I've got to get home in time to watch Checkered Flag.
What a run.
Can you believe that? Checkered Flag, the essence of speed. Wednesday, 10:30 on Channel 12.
Welcome back to Homebush. Well, we've seen a great half an hour of track and field. A great day, in fact. First of all, Lauren Hewitt upsetting Melinda Gainsford-Taylor in the 200 metres. Then Steve Bremicum taking a little bit of the spotlight from King Carl Lewis, but I think Carl has been the star of the show. Then Kathy Freeman, then Sonia O'Sullivan. There has been plenty of great action here today at Homebush. The women's javelin throw was going on while all of that was happening around us. And we'll have a look at Joanna Stone in a moment. She was in a great battle with Louise McPaul.
Two-time Australian champion Joanna Stone has a better personal best than Louise McPaul, but it was McPaul who won the Olympic silver medal in Atlanta, and Stone has started the season in very good form. Keeps a close watch on that, and that is way out there.
Right on the money at 60 metres.
Joanna Stone was desperately disappointed in Atlanta not to make that final. We expected both our javelin girls to make it through, but unfortunately for Jo, a little bit nervous in the qualifying. Didn't make it through. Shared certainly in the joy of Louise McPaul's silver medal. 62.78, she's in the lead. It's a good throw any time over 60 metres for the girls in the javelin.
Just below her personal best, Joanna Stone, but I think that throw should be good enough to give her victory here in Sydney. Louise McPaul, the Olympic silver medalist, is struggling early on, only early days in the season, but Joanna Stone certainly out to make up. Now Louise McPaul, and what a stunning
62.78 from Joanna Stone.
Olympic silver medal it was by Louise McPaul, where she grabbed the medal in only her last throw, her sixth and final throw. The pressure was on Louise McPaul in Atlanta, and she certainly answered the challenge in spectacular fashion, coming up with that mighty effort to grab the silver medal in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was a great moment. The Olympic flame was in the background. She looked up at it. She said a few quiet words for herself, a lot like she's doing now. The routine's the same, whether it's the Olympic Games or it's the Sydney Grand Prix.
She's based in Wollongong. She's currently halfway through her training at the Police Academy at Goulburn, so hasn't been doing a lot of training, concentrating on her studies at the academy. Louise McPaul visualising her throw, and now getting down to work. She needs something special if she is to catch her arch rival in Joanna Stone, McPaul. And you can tell by the disappointment on her face, no need to have a look where the javelin lands. It's outside the sector by the look of it, and Louise McPaul brushes the hair back, and disappointed, Dave Colbert.
Yeah, she's a perfectionist, and any time these athletes don't get it quite right, they are disappointed. So it's in round 4. She'll have to be content with remaining in 3rd place. A little bit of a shake of the head, but the technique's pretty much the same, but the oomph that followed that Olympic silver medal throw, not quite there, and you'd expect that at this time of the season, given that she's been too busy playing cops and robbers. Here's Lara Woodbury.
Woodbury.
Round 5 now. She's in 6th place at the moment.
A personal best of 56.44. They're throwing into quite a strong breeze here at Homebush, and grimaces.
Now the 1, 2, 3 in that 100 metres. First place, Steve Primacombe from the Queensland Academy.
Lara Woodbury from New South Wales in front of a home crowd, 44.54, currently 6th, round 5, and as expected, she's disappointed with that, Dave.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing there for Lara Woodbury. Well, we're about to have a special treat because the Rexona Athlete of the Meet Award, Rexona have put up $3,000 for the Athlete of the Meet. Before we know who it is, because I don't know who it is at the moment, we might have a quick round the grounds. Gavin Lovegrove for mine in the javelin.
Well, I've been concentrating on the track events. I would think Lauren Hewitt for mine as the great performance. Belinda Gainsford went in favourite, but she was able to win.
Yeah, maybe Clay Cross as well. We forget it. Yeah, probably Lauren Hewitt on the track for mine as well.
I've got to go for a field competitor. I'll stick with Clay Cross smashing that 18-metre barrier.
Okay, we'll go down onto the infield where Peter Fitzgerald is our master of ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? The Lever Rexona Company is proud of its association with sporting achievers over the past 22 years. In that time, it has supported and sponsored over 20 national and international stars, such as Margaret Court, Bjorn Borg, Robert De Castella, Ivan Lendl, Chris Evatt and Lisa Ondiki. Tonight, Rexona is the sponsor of the Athlete of the Meet Award in recognition of the achievement of Australian athletics. King Carl Lewis, who now is featured on the current Rexona ads, is here tonight to make the award to the Athlete of the Meet, Joanna Stone. Carl Lewis, ladies and gentlemen.
We're back. First of all, I'm very, very happy to be here representing Rexona and presenting the Rexona Athlete of the Meet. You know, there have been some fantastic performances today and a fantastic crowd to come here and cheer them on. One of the exciting things we heard today is how the people, the local people from here in this community have talked about how tremendous the crowd was to them. So thank you, all of you. The Optus Grand Prix has been an unqualified success, and I'm proud to have been a part of this meet as well because it's been a great fun for me. Now, the introduction to this award highlights Rexona's continuing support of athletics here in Australia. So it is my honor and pleasure to present the Rexona Athlete of the Year, Athlete of the Meet Award rather, to Joanna Stone.
Thank you very much to Rexona for this award tonight. I'm thrilled to be Athlete of the Year, Athlete of the Meet I should say. I should also say a very big thank you to the crowds that have come tonight. It's fantastic to see so many of you here cheering us on. And thank you very much to New South Wales Athletics for putting on the meet tonight and all of the sponsors involved. Thank you, Rexona.
Yeah, well done, Joanna Stone. Well, we had 4 picks. None of us got it right. We should have had a bit of a sneak down and have a look at the track. It's been a great day, Ray.
As I was about to say, the track athlete of the meet was definitely Lauren Hewitt, but you didn't ask me about the field. I was about to say Joanna Stone, and you cut me off. And you were with me, weren't you, Monash? You thought she should have got it from the field point of view.
We were teaming.
Exactly.
Well, it's been a great day, Steve Monaghetti, I should say. The highlight for you?
Oh, I think we mentioned Lauren Hewitt's running, Clay Cross in the field. They're the two young up-and-coming, they're the ones that are leading us into Sydney 2000.
And Terry Kennedy?
Well, I think one of the biggest things to come out of the day is just great support by the Sydney crowd, 12,000 people here, and it makes a great difference, not only to the atmosphere but also the athletes. But Clay Cross, big performance, but Lauren Hewitt, I like the way she's going.
And Ray?
Well, I think we pay tribute to Lauren and to Clay, but Sonia O'Sullivan, the last time I saw her, of course, she was escorted from the track distressed. She came back today and showed a ton of guts. It wasn't an Olympic gold medal, it wasn't an Olympic event, but she's in the Olympic city and she acquitted herself very well. Congratulations to her.
Yeah, it was a great day. Well, Steve Brimacombe was for my highlight, I think, and it was great to finally see the great Carl Lewis compete. The next Optus Grand Prix meeting is in Adelaide, and it is on next Saturday, February the 2nd. You can see it here on Sports Australia on February the 2nd, starting at 12 noon. Check your Visions subscriber magazine for all the details. It's been a great day here at Homebush. The day that Carl Lewis came to Sydney, we've seen Kathy Freeman, Melinda Gainsford, Louise McPaul, Joanna Stone got there in the javelin. She took out the athlete of the meet. On behalf of Amanda de Pledge down at the trackside, all the commentary team, thanks for joining us and goodbye from Homebush.
This has been a brave run from the defending champion. Yes, sir, he's over. It's a friendly rivalry. What a supreme season. And that is an Australian record.
This has been a Sports Australia production.